You said that you love winning. What drives you more, the love of winning or the hate of losing?
Maybe equally, maybe both. I don't like losing, and I do like winning.
Say his name and he appears.
This is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Greetings and welcome to Winning Tonight. How's everybody doing this evening on this Thursday evening? Hope you're all doing and living well. Let me start the show off as always by thanking those awesome people in the winner circle who make it happen on a monthly basis. Thank you so much for being part of the solution. And big thanks to Shelly Wolfram and Ronnie Jam, who also support us over on Rumble. We are broadcasting live on Rumble, X, and YouTube, and away we go. Tonight on Winning Tonight, we will talk about the big news, soon to be released, the identity of the J6 pipe bomber. Kash Patel coming through on his promises to right the wrongs of the past and all the J6 stuff that happened. And that starts by getting to the truth, and the truth shall be revealed. We'll look into that as well as other stories, including RFK issuing an ultimatum to food companies. Canadian premier grovels for mercy from Trump after trying to act tough and didn't work. We got some other tidbits here and there. IRS, we got a special report from OMG, that's O'Keefe Media Group. IRS tax examiner blows whistle on agency, who reveals Congress prioritizing band-aid issues. Amongst other things, we got a whole bunch of things to go through tonight, and we'll get to some of those other press conferences that we didn't get a chance to get to at the end of the show, including the border press conferences by JD Vance. In fact, probably featuring those as the majority of that segment tonight. However, let me we're going to start off with something kind of unique, something we don't do too often, and then we'll get to the lead story, because this seems to be a priority we need to keep our eye on. Let me go ahead and cue this up so it's ready to roll. We got some big news coming, heading our way for the weekend. So we will be checking in with a key contributor here in just a minute for that. But let me start by saying hello to this awesome crowd out here. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. As always, let me say hello to MJ. MJ, hello. How you doing? Right back. Gotcha. Thank you for being here. Wolfram, my friend, how are you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for dropping these links. Guys, remember, it's important that you always listen to the Wolf when you're here, because he knows what he's talking about. He wipes his paws, he lopes in, and he howls. And that's how you know the Alpha Mod is in the house. All right. And we got Heidi. Heidi, how you doing? Thanks for holding it down on the Rumble side. Hope you're doing well, having a great day. Anybody else in the front row this evening that wants to say hello, come on out. Hopefully we are reaching everyone, and this new time is throwing people off. Yes, I'm now starting everything at 7:45. Hey, Serene Pickle over on the Rumble side, how you doing? Welcome to the show. So happy that you're here. We'll let people roll on in. We'll walk it in this evening, guys. We'll walk it in. Yeah, it's that time of year. Weather's been warming up, and time change is it's adjustment period for people. And so we'll get adjusted here on this end. Everybody okay with the new start time? I can go back to 7:30. It gets a little bit darker, just a slightly darker 15 minutes later. So I don't know. I'm kind of used to doing this show at night. So when it's still bright outside, it throws me off a little bit. I'm usually like geared up time it gets dark. So You know, I know Shelly's out there somewhere. She hasn't said anything in the chat yet. She's out there. So big hello to Shelly, our hostess with the mostest, talking trash and truths. She's giving a big hug somewhere out there. She's somewhere out there. So she'll be popping into the chat here as soon as she can. All right. I want to get some more people in here because I got a big update for everyone, especially those of us on the East Coast, but everybody in the US as well. They need to hear this information if they haven't already, because the weekend is almost here, and this is when all this is going to go down. Let me go ahead and cue this up. It's a little something different. Little something different. Busy doing promos, and there she is. There she is, getting everybody in the house. How do you guys hear about the show? Do you guys have the notifications checked? Do you check out a particular Discord channel and see the advertisements there for the show, the promos? Do you see the community posts that I put out there? Hey, Zach, what's up? Look, Zach, you come in here. Say hello. Make sure you say hello. Make a great entrance, man. Make a great entrance. There we go. That's better. All right. Good to see you, man. Good to see ya. It's always important to make a great entrance and a great exit. Some people are good at one and not the other. If you can do both, you are a star. All right. Let's see. Climbing up here. Mostly Discord. Hold on. Mostly Discord, YouTube. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so that's how you hear about the Daily Show when it's going on and off. Yeah, because you're in my Discord, so you get the everybody post, everyone post, everyone post that goes out. That's the first place I post my show notifications. So, no, actually, second. The first place I do it is the community post on YouTube. So that's where I do that. Wolfram Discord, okay, cool. Yeah, we were talking last night about like how wild it is. Shelly and I were talking about how wild it is that there are millions and millions and millions of people on YouTube, and how crazy it is that we have been here. I guess I'm going on. I don't know. It seems like I've been going 4 years, but I guess I'm going on 3. Time flies, yet it feels like it's going faster, which is, I don't know. It feels like a longer. I guess I did the other night with 22, 3 years, coming up on 3 years. And that we still seem to be like in the same, amongst the same like group. It's like we would think at this time we'd reach more people. Like, I'm not saying that people would have it, or something, anything wrong with that. Our group's awesome, but that we seem kind of boxed into this little world, on this little piece of the YouTube world, when there's so much out there. I don't know what that is. It's really strange. We talk about that and other things, but it's like it's like we're stuck in this like law tube adjacent scene, and it's wild because it's like it doesn't make any sense. Like you think that you reach a broader audience at some point, without having to go and do something, I don't know. I don't know how people do it. But, we're not kind of latching onto another channel or latching onto a click or anything like that. Right. And I don't think that's the way that other people normally do it. I think that's a way to do it. And that's a way to maybe grow yourself inside of a scene. Right. You like latch onto something, latch onto another channel that's bigger than yours or something like that. I don't know. But but we just do it our way. And it's just strange that, like after so much time, that it's not broader, right? I guess every now and then we get like new people come by and they've seen us before, but usually kind of around the same scene. It's just really strange. It's not like the whole YouTube world is in the LawTube community. That's definitely not true. But we're talking about it. Like it's just really, as creators, right? It's really a strange thing that we're kind of like in this inescapable little box. And so we don't, you never know. Someone might break it out. Maybe it's just the way YouTube does it, but it's just really odd. It's like there's some missing information out there that we're trying to put our fingers on. And maybe because we don't make videos, but I mean, that could be the next step, right? But we don't make the okay, I'm gonna get up and make a 4 or 5 videos a day and then do a live at night. What I don't know if that's what it is or what. Maybe, I guess. But I noticed that when I made videos that the people who watch videos don't normally come to lives. So I'm trying to figure that out as well. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll find the answers. For now, it's just a big mystery. Along with a lot of other big mysteries out there in our streaming life. How we doing? Okay, people are getting in here. So new YouTube notifications. Okay, cool. Hang on a second. All right. For some reason, whenever I start the show, my nose starts itching. Maybe it's the glasses. I have no idea. Maybe release a couple 5-minute clips from your live shows. Thanks, Zach. I've thought about that. I've tried that a few times, but I haven't done it consistently. So I can't say that about I've given it an honest effort. I mean, doing that. The one thing is maybe what we should do is like Shelly should find clips from mine and I should find clips from hers, because I think both of us are kind of like don't want to go back and watch our own lives. Could be a thing. Hey, what's up, Lex? Some big channels I watch say videos gain subs, lives lose subs. Well, I can I can see that, but then I also without doing the click thing, right? Or without getting into a click, without doing it the underhanded way and buying things, without attaching yourself to it, becoming a fan channel, something like that, right? And that's fine. And however people want to do it, however it works for them, that's cool. It's just that's not things that I guess I'm trying to think of ways that people can grow a channel from obscurity to something, right? To get to the next level. And there's just some ways I've observed others that are able to do it that way. But that might be it. I still think about it. I do still think about it. And I do still watch other creators who do that. And I kind of look at their style. I see how they do it. I kind of chart out a little workflow and say, well, if I was going to do it, this is how it would have to be. It's another level of commitment, I guess. So maybe, I've often said that's probably what it is. Snipe Hunter, what's up? How you doing? Not sure how long I'll be here, but it's been a long day. And well, glad you're here. Thanks for coming by. But thank you for that, Zach. I appreciate it. And thank you, Lex. And it's always great to see you, Lex. Always great to see you. And there is Roscoe Treat. Roscoe Treat, how you doing this evening? Good to see you. I'm glad you guys are here because I'm getting ready to show you guys something very important. Please stick around because this could affect you very soon. In fact, within a matter of hours, if not sooner. But certainly by the end of the weekend, you're going to want to know what I have to say to you right now, because this will probably affect you if you're in the U.S. Memento Mori, how you doing, Memento? Good to see you. I'm glad all you guys are here, man. We got a lot of winners in the house tonight. Old school, new school, all you guys are here. So let's get into this. Let's get into the big news. And what it is we don't do this often, but when it calls for it, I do it. And that is a weather update with Ryan Hall, y'all. It's Ryan Hall, y'all. And by the way, I'll go ahead and say it now. There's going to be a bunch of people out there that are going to say this is because of climate change. And there's going to be a bunch of people out there that's going to say this is because the government has weather weapons, which is, again, it's implying that Trump's using them or some kind of secret deep underground rogue military corporate group. Well, I don't know, maybe some of those career people. But nope, it's just weather. But it's severe weather, and it's some weather. If you haven't heard about it or don't know this is coming, it might be taken by surprise. So let's quickly, at winning speed, go through half of this. All right, and let's just kind of like listen to what Ryan Hall has to say. Get a little weather update. What do you say? Let's do that.
13th, 2025, and we've got a pretty big update on our upcoming major storm. It's unfortunate, but I think this is going to be a pretty big deal, and I hope that you guys help us out here and share the video so we can get some of this potentially life-saving information in front of as many people as possible, because we've got 70 million people under the gun for severe weather just tomorrow.
70 million
into Saturday and Sunday as well, and this looks like the real deal. These are going to be
All
dangerous,
weekend.
destructive storms, so let's get right into it. It all starts tomorrow with a moderate risk of severe weather in Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Tennessee, specifically mostly around the St. Louis and Springfield and Peoria areas. That's where we're going to be most concerned about our potential major impacts from severe weather. But I think that well up into Cedar Rapids and Des Moines, all the way over to Chicago, we could see some damage from some of these thunderstorms during the overnight period. And then the farther south we go, into Memphis, even down into northern portions of Mississippi and Alabama, we could also have pretty significant strong storms as well Friday night. Now, the main threat with these storms on Friday is going to be the winds. We've got a big time straight line damaging wind threat, 45% chance of seeing significant damage from severe thunderstorms. In the pink area, the red is 30%, and then the dotted lines there, that's where we've got the hatched risk, and that indicates that the damage is likely going to be significant. We're talking about widespread trees down, roofs potentially coming off of houses. We're talking about hurricane force wind gusts anywhere in that hatched area. That's going to be a possibility tomorrow. We've also got a little bit of a chance of some hail. It's not going to be as big of a deal as our other threats, but specifically around St. Louis, maybe down towards Memphis, we could see some pretty large hail tomorrow. And then, of course, we've got ourselves a very large 10% hatched risk of tornadoes from southeast Iowa all the way down into Mississippi and Alabama. Once again, this includes Memphis, this includes St. Louis, and this is going to be a pretty dangerous part of the storm, because although the tornado situation isn't going to be the main part of this mode,
tomorrow in the Midwest,
kind of linear, the line of storms, but if we do get tornadoes, if we do get some broken line action, and we do actually see some supercells able to make contact with the ground, or even if we see embedded tornadoes in the line, a lot of those tornadoes are going to happen overnight. So nocturnal tornadoes, nothing we ever want to have to deal with, but that's exactly what's on the table for Friday night. And then everything's going to continue to move east into Saturday, where we have a very rare day 4 moderate risk for portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. This has only ever happened a handful of times. The last time that it happened was March 22nd, 2022. So this is a pretty big deal. The fact that we have enough confidence already to issue this high of an outlook 3 days ahead of time is something that we very rarely see. So I'm trying to get you to understand how big of a deal Saturday could possibly get. Now, we are still 3 days away, so hopefully things downtrend or mellow out. But right now, it looks like it's going to be a destructive day of severe weather, especially in that red area. We're also concerned about our friends in the orange.
Dark Kitty, what's up?
That includes Atlanta, Georgia. That includes Huntsville, Alabama. We're talking about Chattanooga, Knoxville, Nashville, Clarksville. This is y'all country, okay? And there's a lot of people out here that are watching this right now. I want you guys to take this seriously and prepare for those tornado warnings as we go into Saturday. We're not going to know the specific details of what the tornado chances are and stuff until tomorrow, but I think they're going to be quite high. This looks like a supercellular, long track, potentially violent tornado day where we see multiple tornadoes going on at the same time. And it's just really unfortunate because if everything goes as currently modeled, we're going to have a very significant day of severe weather on our hands for Saturday. So go ahead and get your plans in place right now to know exactly what you're going to do whenever that tornado warning comes through on Saturday, if you live in any of the highlighted areas here. And don't be scared, be prepared. Let's take a look at what the radar could look like as we go through the day tomorrow. This is just a simulation. It's not exact, and we're still not sure exactly when the storms are going to start firing off tomorrow. It's going to be sometime between 3 and 6 p.m. But what we do know is that when storms do get going, they are very quickly going to explode into a damaging squall line of severe thunderstorms that extend from Minnesota all the way down into central Missouri. By the time we get to 9 or 10 p.m., this is going to be causing potentially widespread damage from southeast Illinois.
All right, there you go, guys. As he moves along here, he just tells more of the story. But I wanted to give you the highlights. Let's get into this side of it over here.
The other day, one of the things that we're really concerned about is the low-level jet, and it's going to be pretty much maxed out here by 8 p.m. on Saturday.
Look at that.
Storms that are interacting with this at 8 p.m. are going to be capable of producing intense tornadoes, capable of doing EF2, EF3, maybe even greater damage.
Wow.
So it is very important that you have a way of...
Not government, not climate change, just weather. All right. So yeah, that's you know, we'll see if winning Saturday night goes off or not. But yeah, there we go. So I wanted to make sure everybody was up to date on that. I want you guys to be safe and ready and prepared. And so that's how we are starting our evening off tonight with a little weather warning. Hope you guys make the most of that and nothing bad comes your way. Anybody besides me right over the target? I'm sure some of you are. I know some of you are. Looks like for once Pennsylvania is getting a break, huh? Maybe it'll just snow there. Let's see. Here we go. I want that up there. And I'm just doing a little organization here with a very slow browser. Oh, wow. It's really loving it right now. Okay. And oh, there we go. Okay. It's going to do that for me. That's very nice of you. Oh, here we go. That's the one. That's the lead in. That's the lead in right there. Okay. Got that, and then we'll go to here. Nice. All right. Not quite there. There we go. Okay, good. We're all set. Let me cue that up. And we'll do the lead story here coming up. What's up out there, y'all? Pothead Kenny, how you doing? Did you see the weather forecast? Did you see the weather forecast? You need to get ready for tomorrow because it's going to be heading over Kentucky. Off from Kentucky. When I saw that, I thought about you, and I was like, well, I hope Pothead Kenny is ready for this. I hope he's ready. I got the speed going on, right? Okay, good. Good. Let me see if I can make this thing do stuff. All right. Well, hopefully that'll fix that. All right, cool.
A
All right,
new
we're good.
report claims that FBI director.
You guys couldn't see it, but my eyes just got wide because all of a sudden the video started playing. I was like, where's that coming from? Okay, here we go. Back to the chat. Trust not worried that heart attack last week was enough. You had a heart attack last week? Oh my goodness. For real? Ugh. Well, I'm glad you're all right. Oh man, those aren't fun. So what's the deal with that? Cynthia Fire Fairy, what's going on? I was up all night because of the winds and rain. We had gusts between 75 and 85 miles per hour. We're in for another night and 2 more days of it. Southern California. Yeah, it's coming off there. It's coming from there all the way over here. You're sending your bad weather our way. There you go. Whatever these squares mean, you got it. Wow. So all kinds of breaking news here. All right, so we're gonna get into our main story here, and I'll circle back to the to what's going on in the crowd. All right, guys, as you saw in the description, and as you saw in the thumbnail, the big news of the day, the top news story of the day. One of them, I think this probably is way up there in our interest level, is that Kash Patel is about to reveal the true identity of the J6 pipe bomber. Now, if you don't know, they've had this guy on camera. They've, he's all masked up and got gloves and weird shoes on and all this stuff like that. And they found these 2 pipe bombs. One was near a Republican hangout, and one was near a Democrat hangout. And they have a lot of theories about why these were there, were they active, who put them there. But the FBI kind of just dropped it. This is under the corrupt Biden administration, right? They kind of just dropped it, right? Well, Cash has got the docs, and we're going to go into that. Let's lead off with this breakdown of it, and then we will go into the doc itself. Here we go.
A new report claims that FBI Director Kash Patel is about to blow the gates wide open on the January 6th Fedsurrection. Yes, the Fedsurrection. Multiple news outlets are reporting that Patel has been dogged in getting information to Congress about the event, specifically about the pipe bomber, which, is the key to unraveling the entire plot to entrap Trump supporters on January 6th. We are going to break that down today.
Let's break it down.
This is true, and I hope it comes soon. This is going to be one of the biggest exposures of the deep state
It's gonna be
weaponizing
good
government
times,
against
people.
us that we
Good
have
times.
ever seen. In fact, I can't think off the top of my head of a single event of the deep state being exposed that we've ever experienced that would be bigger than this. Okay. Kash Patel, according to a new report
so far,
by Revolver News, is about to blow the lid off the January 6th pipe bomber conspiracy. We've been following this story pretty close, you and I, since the very beginning, because you understand, and I understand, that the key to unlocking exactly what happened on January 6th lies in understanding why the FBI stopped their investigation into a man wearing a black hoodie who, in the evening of January 5th, allegedly placed an allegedly explosive device outside of 2 locations in Washington, D.C.
Allegedly,
outside of the Democrat National Committee, the DNC, and outside, well, it wasn't really the RNC, but outside of the Capitol Hill Club, where a lot of Republicans are known to congregate and network. And we've known for a long time that this shouldn't have been a case that caused the FBI that much consternation to solve. We have videotape of this man. We have tracking data from his phone, the geolocation data where every time you move, a GPS signal bounces between your phone and a satellite. And this data is publicly available. Advertisers, for example, can buy this information about your movement, about your location, and they can use it to create a profile of you so that they can target their ads to you better. Think about the ads that you get on your Instagram feed, for example. How do these advertisers know who you are and what you're interested in? Well, part of it's because they purchase this geo-tracking data and then they send that ad to your phone based on the data. The government also has access to this data, and the government, the FBI specifically, tracked the phones of anyone nearby the DNC and the RNC who possibly could have had the same footprint pattern based on this geo-tracking location from the phone as this person who allegedly planted an allegedly explosive device. And they narrowed down the suspects to 186 people. Well, 186 people, this should be a piece of cake for the FBI. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, these gumshoes, this should be an easy case to crack.
Gotcha.
Well, they did crack it. They narrowed down those 186 possible phone numbers to just one.
To just one person.
Phone number.
Wow.
So we got him. We know who the January 6th pipe bomber is.
And then?
But then suddenly, after they'd narrowed it down to just one person, the FBI stopped. The FBI ceased their investigation. The FBI closed the book on the January 6th pipe bomber investigation.
Why would they do that?
Why would they do that? Guy. Why is that?
Why?
Why did they do that?
Why?
I think you know the answer to why they did that. I think I know the answer to why they did that. The FBI is at the very least covering up information that someone in the federal government doesn't want you to know. Now, whether it's the FBI that committed the wrongdoing, whether this was
not the cash,
a completely staged event, whether the ATF was involved, whether Nancy Pelosi was in knowledge of this, we don't know those details yet. But Kash Patel does.
Oh, yeah.
The FBI director does. The new FBI director under President Trump has access to all the dirt on what happened on January 6th. And as soon as we know who exactly was involved in the staging of the pipe bomb, which, by the way, you'll remember we were told was the most dangerous potential act of domestic terror that was thwarted by law enforcement in DC that we have ever seen in our lifetime.
Wow. And I want to add to what she's saying. That Kash has this, and we've read his book, Government Gangsters. We've already read that book, and he is about as straight shooter as it comes, and about as buy the book as it comes, and guarantee if he has some answers for us, we'll get them.
Well, you'd think we'd be awfully interested in knowing exactly who committed that crime and not leaving it. What are we, four odd years later? We still don't know the name of this person. Well, who exactly was involved in this cover-up? Who was involved in this staging? You unlock that, and then you understand exactly who was involved in entrapping Trump supporters in and around the Capitol on January 6th, which led to the FBI raiding the homes of otherwise peaceful protesters who wandered into open doors and were guided around the Capitol by the Capitol police officers themselves, grandmas thrown in jail, people's lives ruined, misdemeanor charges being bulked up with terrorism enhancements to the point where at least one man, Matthew Perna, committed suicide because he could not face the penalty, the prison penalty he was going to face for something that he did not do.
Wow. Real quick, on this comment, I had to wait for her to take a breath. Yeah, you know, and I talked about this. I had Radix Verum on, who was covering it, I don't know if she ever got a documentary out or not. I haven't seen Radix in a while. Did she follow my algorithm or something? I gotta like go visit her channel so she's back in there. But I haven't seen her in a bit. Good friend of the channel. And she's doing a documentary on the Fed napping in Michigan, where we learned a lot from her research about how Fed informants, these are people that have been busted doing federal crimes, usually of the very most sickening kind, are then turned into informants, and these informants are then used as useful idiots for feds to do things like entrap people and create patsies. And that's what they did in Michigan, and that's what they did at J6. And so I would say, Soreen, that you're probably like right about the adjacent, right? They rarely use their own people. I know people say feds, but a lot of times it's just, if they're there, they're maybe 2 steps away from the person who's doing the thing, right? And that's usually your informants or your patchies. And so they have this database where they literally send informants after people they want to create patchies out of. And so, yeah, they then went after all these, innocent tourists into the building that were encouraged to come in, and we'll find out more about that too, right? But and then they use that as a smokescreen to go after all those people. We're going after all these insurrectionists, and but by the way, and then they sweep people like Ray Epps under the rug, and they sweep people, this pipe bomber guy under the rug, right, out of nowhere. It's like, don't just forget about it. Let's memory hole it. Yeah, that's what they do. So yeah, good point there. Good point. Another point out there from Dark Kitty. But they said they wouldn't accept geo-tracking in 2000 mules, right? Right. And have you seen Let My People Go? It's an even better version of that work on 2000 mules. I think it's a better take. Though that's a good take as well. It's part of that is included in it, right? Part of the 2000 mules route kind of stuff is included in it, but the Let My People Go take is like the step-by-step how it's done thing. And well, luckily, hopefully we'll never have to deal with it again, but explains the F curve, right? The F curve, and it's the F curve is when it goes straight up and right over. And so every time they'd shut down a poll during that really screwy rigged election, they would when they came back suddenly, Biden had shot ahead of Trump like in a straight line up. Craziest thing ever, and it created an F look, right? Because at that point Trump was ahead, and then when it shot up, it creates this F look, and that's why I call it an F, or a fail curve, because a fraud curve. Sorry. And so the F curve. So yeah, Let My People Go. Covered it on, was it Unveiling Reality or Old School Watch Party Sunday? I don't know. I did one of those shows. We watched the whole documentary. Highly recommended if you want to know what's going on. If you still are curious about how they got away with doing what they did in 2020, the Let My People Go documentary, I would say, it was hands down the best one I've seen. So there you go. All right, let's get back to this.
So if this new report is true, and I hope it is, and I think it is, because Kash Patel went into the FBI promising to root out the deep state. And this is it.
I gotta click on our videos.
The deep state. Stephen D'Antuono is the name of the FBI agent who was in charge of the DC field office. He was in charge of all the FBI operations in and around the Capitol.
Maybe we can get you around
January 6th. And he was caught lying to the United States Congress when Congress investigated this. Stephen D'Antuono said, well, the reason that the FBI couldn't track who exactly or identify who exactly placed these allegedly explosive devices outside of the DNC and next door to the RNC is because when we, the FBI, Stephen D'Antuono claimed, requested the phone data to use the geo-tracking data to identify the person, when we contacted the telecom companies, meaning your cell phone carrier, and asked them for that information, the data was corrupted. We simply weren't able to bridge that gap. We needed that information to identify our man, and we didn't get it because the telecom company said the data was corrupted. This is what Stephen D'Antuono testified in front of Congress. And yet the major telecom company involved, the one who was facing this, what turned out to be false accusations, said, no, that's not true. We don't have any data that was corrupted, and the FBI never requested that data from us and never told us that any data we did give them was corrupted. There's a massive cover-up that happened, my friends, a massive cover-up that would unlock the mystery of exactly who was behind staging the Fedsurrection, because we're long past the point where even those in the center and many on the left believe that what happened on January 6th was simply an organic grassroots protest that turned into some kind of violent protest. We are long past that point in public opinion. The majority of the American people understand that there were undercover feds that were fomenting violence on January 6th. The question is not whether that happened. The question is who was behind it. And then who helped cover the tracks.
That's right.
And Kash Patel is in a unique position to blow the lid off of this conspiracy. And according to reports, it's about to happen. And I pray that these reports are accurate. I pray that these reports are accurate. Julie Kelly, as you know, has been dogged in this fight. She was one of the first to report this, and she is incredibly credible. She claims that the deep state, those bureaucrats who hate Trump, are in a panic over Kash Patel. And my response to that would be, well, I would be too if I were them. That's exactly how they should be reacting, because they are caught. They are panicked in a corner with Kash Patel facing down on them. Julie Kelly says
that's why they're creating all these straw men with Elon and everything else. Of course, Elon's taking all their money away and all their laundering. That's all come out, man. We're just ramping up, guys. It's so exciting. We're just ramping up. Like, this is just the early stages. I know everybody wants the world and they want it now, but this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. So, we're all just laying the foundation for what's to come for the rest of the year and for the following year and the following year. So hopefully we're at a red hot fever pitch going 1,000 miles an hour by the time we reach the midterms, because that's going to be what people are going to run against the corrupt Democrat establishment and all the useful idiots that are over there, and all the whatever kind of neoconish people try to infiltrate our side would say, well, they'll try. But anyways, yeah, hopefully we're going like full speed ahead by the time the midterms come. Right now, those just uncovering stuff day after day, and then all the hidden cover up stuff coming out. And I bet you we haven't heard the last of the Whitmer Fednapping either.
They're pretending that they're still looking for this individual. It's all part of the cover up, a head fake. Before January 6th, they're extremely nervous about FBI Director Kash Patel. Fox News also reported that FBI Director Kash Patel is working aggressively to comply ahead of schedule with congressional document requests in an effort to follow through on his commitment for the Bureau to provide transparency to the American people. A couple months ago, you'll remember we interviewed the founder of Revolver News, Darren Beatty, who is now at the State Department. We interviewed him about specifically not just January 6th, although he has been one of the best reporting from the very beginning on January 6th. But even more specifically, we asked him about the January 6th pipe bomber and what information the government has covered up and how they've staged that cover up. If you haven't watched that episode, highly recommend going back. You can search January 6th pipe bomber on any platform, YouTube or X or Apple or Spotify or Blaze TV, and you'll be able to find that. And as Revolver News puts it in their reporting,
exactly, Dark Lotus, exactly.
A government.
Libby, what's up? How you doing?
Not just the FBI, but the ATF, the Secret Service, Capitol Police, and even Kamala Harris herself. The evidence is so damning that we have long referred to the January 6th pipe bombs as one of the two smoking guns of the Fedsurrection. The other smoking gun being Ray Epps. Revolver notes just recently, no less than Elon Musk, a confirmed reader of Revolver News, expressed his view that the pipe bomb story is a hoax and that the identity of the bomber could very well be a secret government employee. All right. And you guys, I can see you're blowing up the live chat. In the live chat.
All right, there we go. All right, there we go. Where to go? Yeah, thank you, Liz Wheeler. Thank you. All right, that's our lead into the story. Now we're going to see what he actually has before he actually releases it. So what the lead up to that release is going to be. And we're going to go to a very awesome creator to do that here in a second. But let me turn my attention to the crowd here before we get to the second part of the story. and say, let's go back here to what I left off on. Kenny says, I've been weak, but I love you guys so much. Well, we love you too. And we're glad that you're okay, man. Heart attacks are serious business. And we're just happy to hear from you. I was wondering what had happened. I know you're busy training for some biking, but we didn't realize that you would train that hard. But we all wish you good health. And like Darth Kitty says here, and many others have said, it was a stress related, but I will be better. And damn it, I am riding Chicago for charity still. Well, you take your time, all right? Chicago is not going anywhere. Chicago is not going anywhere. You take your time. And because it's better to have you around than have you out on a bike. But, I know you'll do it. I know you'll do it. All right. I know you will. All right. And did we find the Let My People Go link? There it is right there. See, it's over on the Rumble side. And is that where you can get your hands on it, Darth Kitty? We'll bring it over to the YouTube side if it's not there. And we'll get it to you. But you'll enjoy that documentary. It's on YouTube as well. Okay, it's actually, there it is. Okay. It's already out there. Good stuff. All right. And you'll enjoy that documentary. You will, start to finish. And if you want to, you can watch it with my commentary in it, or you can just go find it yourself and watch it without it. Either way, just the information is what's important. If you want my take, you'll have my take in there too. So there you go. All right. Let's see. They are sworn to uphold the law and all these different things coming out: money, election, fraud, criminal. Yeah. But we've been living in a fraud. Like I said, but we've been living in a false narrative, right? A lot of people still believe the false narrative. We are outside of that false narrative. We're beyond the first veil, right? And a lot of people, that's the reality. That's why I keep trying to express, and I know you guys get it, right? And so for people that are new, and I go over it again, or I reiterate it, so maybe it clicks this time for if it hadn't clicked yet. But that's that's the true nature of reality when you pull back the veils, right? Is that there's literally people running around with blinders on, boxed into a narrative. Like this, get the visual going, right? That's literally how they see the world. They don't see the edge of the box that they're in. They don't see the walls. They don't see them. They're veiled. That just looks like more horizon out there for them. But they believe that is reality. And I want you just to wrap your head around that for a second. Wrap your head around that existence. Now, for a lot of us, it's not too hard because we can just kind of look back, maybe a few years, maybe several decades, or maybe back to even childhood, and relate to that experience. And then we can see where we broke free from it and why. We can do that self scouting, that self analysis, and understand it. So then we understand their condition, right? The tragic part about it is that it's really hard to snap somebody out of those things. Sometimes it works. Sometimes one event or something like that will get you there. But for the most part, those people are going to live in that box forever, thinking that that's all it is. And you can just look at a fish in a fish tank, thinking they're swimming in the ocean, right? They think they're in the ocean, and they keep reaching the edge of the world. Have you guys joined the Fish Square Earth Society? Rectangle Earth Society? Yeah, there's a big cult of fish out there that believe that the world is a rectangle. It's like, all right, and they call it what the frozen, the still water, the unbreakable water, invisible barrier. All right, outer space is the light above them, right, where the food comes down from God. God feeds them from above. That's the rectangle Earth Society of fish world. I just made all that shit up. All right. Anyways, let's get to the next part of this with some in-depth analysis of the documentation.
How many confidential
that we have so far, and how can I start this at? There, right there. Oh, okay. Well, that didn't work. That works. Okay. We'll start right here. That works. Ladies and gentlemen, our go-to legal analyst for the show, Robert Gouveia, will now walk us through the files quickly. This is a quick video. I know he has some long ones, and so do I, but this is quick. So we'll get through this file, and then we'll get on to the next story. But this is important to know so we understand what Cash is looking at, how he got it, and what to expect.
And in response to your subpoena about the FBI's investigation into the January 6th pipe bombs, documents are
legal
enclosed. Mark in these numbers through these numbers. Cash Patel delivers. We've been waiting for some documents, and we do have a transfer of something is being moved around. We haven't seen them yet, but they did get delivered. It's in a letter from the FBI. We'll read through it. The Epoch Times teed us off on this one, says the FBI hands over J6 pipe bomb documents to House Republicans. That's great. So they're going to release them all, right? Because the House Republicans have them, and they release everything, like all those January 6 videos and body camera videos too. So anyways, the documents got transferred, and there were a couple letters that went out. Let me show you what is happening behind the scenes. So here is what Jim Jordan sent over to Cash Patel. This one went out on February 24th, and then we got a response back from the FBI on March 7th, and they're going to explain to us the first tranche of stuff that has gone out to the House Republicans. But here's what the Judiciary Committee sent out, and they want a bunch of stuff, right? They said, listen, hey, Cash, we need some help, man. We sent a bunch of subpoenas and compelled documents requests to Director Wray, but he was a terrible person and failed massively. And so now you have said you're going to bring accountability and all this stuff back. Now, we deeply distrust the FBI, and we need help in restoring its honor. So several things that they want documents on. Okay, obviously, the local school board meetings, we'll fast forward through that. FBI was investigating parents for caring about your kids and asking questions. How dare you? And also Catholics too, called all of us violent extremists because of God, I guess. Biden colluding with tech companies. They want information about that. Mostly interested in this subsection here. Director Wray's slow walking of the J6 pipe bomb info. On January 6th, the federal law enforcement discovered 2 pipe bombs near the RNC and DNC, and they didn't really spend much time investigating it. The discovery of both bombs resulted in federal law enforcement diverting significant resources away from the Capitol. Convenient. So then as law enforcement responded to the bombs, protesters breached the security perimeters. The pipe bombs were either intentionally or unintentionally serving as critical diversions that substantially contributed to the security posture. Now, nearly 4 years later,
critical diversions. Keep that in mind.
Law enforcement has yet to identify the individual responsible for planting the pipe bombs. Go figure. In the early weeks of the investigation, the FBI took significant investigative steps, including identifying multiple persons of interest, search warrants, hours of security camera footage, components of the pipe bombs. And despite the threat that the bombs posed to Congress and the public, and Kamala, who was right there, the role they played in diverting resources away from the Capitol, the feds have refused to provide updates to Congress until now. We do have some stuff. So throughout the last Congress, the committee sent numerous requests to the FBI for documents. In response, the FBI only provided the committee with a briefing that left them with more questions than answers. Particularly, among other things, the briefing failed to inform the committee of the viability of the pipe bombs that were recovered and whether the FBI interviewed the person who discovered the bomb. Now, while the DOJ pursued its investigations of Americans following the events at, quote, unprecedented speed and scale, and after nearly 1,500 days since the 2 bombs were discovered, the FBI has not made any meaningful progress towards the apprehension of a pipe bomber who dropped 2 weapons of mass destruction, allegedly, outside 2 very important buildings in Washington, D.C., one of which Vice President walked right by. Due to the gravity of the threats, as well as the apparent lack of investigation by the FBI, the committee requires information about what specific actions the FBI took. And remember, maybe they'll get to it, but Steve D'Antonio also, in my opinion, lied through his teeth that other cell phone companies had corrupted data. Did you track his data?
We just heard about that.
No, we couldn't. Why? It was corrupted. Oh, all of it? Yeah. From all of the cell phone companies? Yeah. That's weird because they're data companies, and data companies, their job is to like not lose data, you know? They lost it. How'd that happen? Yeah. So what did they do? Did they request it? We already know there were stories that the cell phone company said that that's not true at all. They gave them everything they had. It was all functional. So in particular, the committee requires information specific enough to determine whether the FBI adequately investigated this case at all. This will allow us to consider any reforms that are needed at the FBI. Now, in addition to that, we want more than just the pipe bomb stuff. We also want to know this very important question. How many confidential human sources were there in the crowd on January 6th? We know from the Proud Boys trial that the Proud Boys defense attorney said that there were at least 50, which is 10 times more than the number of Proud Boys who were on trial. On December 12th, the Justice Department OIG reported on the FBI handling and found that there were 26 undercover CHSs at the FBI. Okay, so forget about HSI, a whole separate agency. Forget about Metro Police. Forget about all of the other Army divisions and all of it, who are there. All of them. National Guard. Undercovers for days. Hundreds, I would expect. Saying 3 of whom were specifically tasked by the FBI to travel to Washington that day, like officially on the books. Now, although the FBI recognized the, quote, potential for violence, FBI headquarters failed to take the routine step of directing field offices to canvass their sources to develop detailed intelligence about potential threats. So 26 people who they could have milked for information, they didn't. It's also unclear whether the FBI shared its reporting from CHSs with other law enforcement entities before the FBI took steps to prevent violence or cause it. Now, according to the report, 26 CHSs came from multiple FBI field offices and were in Washington with the connection to the events on January 6th. Of those 26 CHSs, 4 entered the Capitol, 13 entered the restricted area, 9 attended the events but did not enter the Capitol or engage in illegal activity. But guess what? Biden didn't prosecute any of them who entered the Capitol. One of the sources who entered the Capitol later provided video footage, which was passed along to the FBI. When they got that info, they instructed the office to task the CHS with going to Joe Biden's inauguration, right? So that dude who helped you set it up as a CHS got invited to the inauguration. Of course, the FBI later used taxpayer dollars to reimburse the undercover sources to travel to Washington, right? So the FBI was seeding it with their sources. Now, additionally, the FBI failed to track the number of CHSs in Washington before that day. The handling offices for each of the CHSs obtained Washington field office concurrence as required, but of the 23 who traveled on their own initiative, the field office was only informed that 2 would be in Washington, but 13 notified that they were there. So their lines were crossed. They only had advance notice of 5 of 26 who were coming, but everyone else knew that they were coming. So the committee requires information. How did they not know what their numbers were? And more. They also want information about Iran and their attempts to interfere with the election, and Biden using FACE to pursue political prosecutions. They want gobs of information. All of this getting sent over to the Honorable Kash Patel. Sincerely, your friend, Jim Jordan. Thanks for getting us these documents.
Sincerely, Jimmy Jim.
So the FBI responded, and here is what they said back. The Honorable Jim Jordan, coming from the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Congressional Affairs for the FBI. This is being written by the Assistant Director under Kash. Dear Chairman Jordan, this letter provides an initial response, phase 1, seeing that again, to your letter and to your subpoenas to the FBI that you sent back on Feb 24. You're calling for transparency and accountability. But guess what? During Kash's confirmation hearing, he affirmed that, said that aggressive constitutional oversight from Congress is essential to restoring trust with the FBI, and he's committed to working with you.
It's true.
And so, Jim, as a sign of good faith, we're providing this initial production more than a week ahead of the subpoena deadline, ahead of schedule and under cost. This will not be the last production we will send to satisfactorily comply with your subpoena, but it is the first one. And so, to that end, we are diligently working to completely comply with your subpoenas. Now, given the diverse and broad subject matters that you asked for, we saw them all. Here's what we're working on. We've got right now for you some documents from Garland's school board memo. Those are marked as follows. We also got the subpoena from the Richmond field office. So those are marked in these indexes. Response to your subpoena about the FBI and social media companies from the Foreign Influence Task Force, those are included in these files. And in response to your subpoena about the FBI's investigation into the January 6th pipe bombs, documents are enclosed, marked in these numbers through these numbers. So it looks like we've got 00001 through 0000030. Okay, so like 30 files, 30 folders. Some of these are much bigger. Okay, this one goes up to 319. This one goes up to 367. That's only 030 versus some other ones, although this one's smaller, right? That one's 01 to 09. So about 30 pages of documents, 30 files of documents, probably pages, but maybe there's some juicy bits in there. We'll see. Now, again, the FBI will continue to produce additional responsive documents identified through our ongoing search processes on a rolling basis to meet your needs. The FBI is committed to complete compliance with various subpoenas on these documents. Today's productions contain
translation, more to come even after this first initial splash. Give them some credit. They got stuff to go through. They got to dig it out. They got to find the bad actors that are hiding things potentially. They got to discover if anything's been destroyed, and they got to track this dude down and arrest him, whoever it is. Whoever did the deed needs to pay the price.
contain minimal redactions to protect personally identifiable information and law enforcement sensitive info. The FBI is able to engage with the committee to address any questions about these redactions. Please note that these may include personal information, and we do not waive any privileges with regard to these documents. We hope, Jim, you're happy with these documents. Thank you for supporting the FBI, our mission, and our people. From Marshall Yates. So Congress has their hands on something. Jim Jordan has his hands on 30 pages of J6 pipe bomb stuff. Let's see what's inside.
Let's go. Yeah, and Jim Jordan is a trustworthy dude. He's a trustworthy dude. So, where this starts playing randomly. Here we go. Okay. So there you have it. Exciting times. How fast this will all come out? Well, let's let them cross their T's, dot their I's, make sure they do everything by the book so we can get good convictions down. I'm not it is what it is. What's happened has happened. And now that we're on the case, something will come of it. Let's make sure it's done right. I'm not going to get emotional about how fast it needs to come out or what the first batch may look like. Just let it work. Let it work. We got good people on it. All right. I know that we all have we all have past trauma from the last administration and a lifetime of the corrupt establishment hammering on us and lying to us and gaslighting us. This is typical, a typical reaction to that level of abuse that we've been under from these people. So I get it. I mean, I'm there with you too. I just recognize it as that was them and this is now, right? That was them and then, and this is now and us. So we'll get there eventually. I just want to make sure things stick, right? I think in the end, right, Jacob Castro, we want to make sure it sticks. We don't want any kind of like, oh, you did it the wrong way. So now some weirdo judge in some weird place is going to block it and say you can't do this, right? Or some slimy lawyer is going to get some dude off because you didn't follow the procedures, right? No. No, we need convictions. We need justice, and it's on the way. And that's great news, isn't it? Isn't that great news? Dark Lotus, I've been thinking how critical Gabbard is, and I hope she is locking down the NSAs so this evidence is preserved. I hope so too. I think they all came in with an idea of how to initially go after things. What I'm seeing here from the results is I think that there wasn't just like, well, okay, I want to put you in and then we'll figure it out as we go. No, we're going to put you in and this is what we need you to do day one, right? And go after these areas. I think there's been some real strategy going on. And you can see how Elon first went after, well, let's see, there's a lot of places, a lot of departments we're going to audit and we're going to look for efficiency, ways to improve efficiency. Let's go after USAID first. It seems like they knew that was the golden goose right there. And while there's still a lot more corruption and money laundering and criminality to expose through Doge, they went to the one that was going to produce some of the biggest and most disturbing results right off the bat. And I think that same is true for the rest of this, right? They wanted to show up the obstruction. They wanted to show how deep the corruption was, and they wanted to pull out and highlight areas where they could go get some results. But first, laying the foundation for why they're going to get the results there, i.e., the New York FBI. Obviously, a lot of reasons they want to take a good look at the Justice departments and the intelligence agencies in New York, right? But to expose the corruption, sent the director of that department, out the door, right? And that freed up a lot of things. And onward they go. So that's my take on it. But I think that there's some strategy definitely going on behind this, and everybody has a plan, a strategy in what they're going to do. We just refer back to the crowd here. There's where Jacob came in. All right. Personally, I don't think they're fucking around. So they're being extremely careful. Yes, absolutely, Darth Kitty. Absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that. 100%. I'd like an AG that doesn't lie to my face. That'd be great. Do you know AGs? He's giving you a hard time, Jacob. But I agree with you 100%. Let's get one that tells the truth. Let's get a whole government that tells the truth and fearlessly tells the truth, right? Because they're not corrupt. They're not screwing us over. that's when it's okay to tell, these people who lie and cover things up, and they're a lot of what people attribute to, like, and there's plenty of conspiracies out there. I'm not conspiracy averse, and I call them out when I see them, but there are a lot more reality-based conspiracies than some of the ones that are far-fetched, right? And a lot of far-fetched conspiracies start by people associating what is a cover-up with what is a conspiracy, like they're covering up their incompetence or their own shortcomings, right? And then they attribute that to and I got a thing on this. I don't know where I put it. It might be saving it for Monday night. I don't know. I got to find out where I put this clip. But it was Bustamante talking about that, and then like talking about like so many things that people attribute to like this grand mass conspiracies are actually just individuals covering their asses with cover-ups, and these cover-ups generally are exposing some level of personal criminality or some level of personal incompetence. But they get roped into mass larger kind of ideas of conspiracies. And of course, those never work out. Nobody ever gets these solutions out of those or any justice out of this. So it's better to focus on the individuals involved and look at what we're actually doing rather than look for some bigger masterminder kind of thing. Because as you kind of chop out the incompetency and criminality, eventually you get to a system that has more integrity to it. And where you, like Jacob said, you get people that don't lie to your face. That's a great thing, isn't it? Isn't that a great thing? Sure is. All right. GTMA. All right. Good to meet. What does GTMA mean? All right. So anyways, go to mall alive. I don't know. It's the damn princess. We all know it's the woman's fault. What? GMTA. Good morning. Tom Avery. I don't know. The DOD is going to be huge. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Shinagram, how you doing? I made it. I got lost in working and forgot the time, but I'm here. Thank you for being here. Thank you. We are just getting kicked off. You got plenty of show left to enjoy with all these fine people out here in the crowd. Beautiful people, smart people. And here we all are. A lot of hellos going around. I assume the government is lying to me. I'm pitch black pilled through. Yep. And what it's going to take for this condition right here amongst all of us, it's going to take a track record of results that point to the fact we're not being lied to. Transparency is the point. Exposing those who have lied to us is credible, right? Builds credibility. And then delivering on results. So when something new happens, how do they handle that? What information do we get? The problem I think, Dark Lotus, with a lot of the world is that we're fiction based in our expectations a lot of times. And that has to do with the vast amount of entertainment and subject matter that's out there. I see so many assumptions and expectations that are more based in fantasy than reality about what the government can do, how they can do it, how fast we're supposed to get information, and this, and then people pounding their fists. Now, I could do that, and this is something Shelly and I were talking about the other night too. I could do that, right? I could be very sensational and be like, "Oh, we want it now. We want it now. See, I told you they're all this and that." Well, I wouldn't be being honest with you. That would be a very selfish thing for me to do. Now, if I actually believe that would mean that, I am probably not a very reliable person to come through for reality-based information, right? Because I live in a fantasy world where I believe that things can be done that can't be done. But what you're saying here is expected, because like I was saying earlier, we've all been abused by the system for our entire lives. And now that we have something different, we have to get adjusted to that, and they have to prove it to us. They have to make things different by exposing the ones who did lie to us and what they've done and how they did it, and then how they handle new situations that come about. So inevitably there's going to be new situations that come about. How transparent are they? But I tend to temper my expectations about delivery to reality. You know, I don't expect them to come flying out the door with everything you can know about a possible thing, early into it. It may take some time. And so many reasons for that. So there's security reasons, there's legal reasons, there's a lot of things in and out. They're working on investigations. We want to make sure that we convict the bad guys in every case, the bad actors. We expose the corruption in every case. And sometimes that requires walking it in rather than ramming it down, or out the door. And sometimes it's just a matter of, we got to connect some dots here. Give us a second. So today I try to put myself in their shoes and how could I do it with just what I know exists out there, right? And that's pretty much what it is. But we got some really competent people in there now. So I think we're going to be delivering on some really good results. And the competent people that are in charge now will set the bar. They will set the bar for us, right? So exciting times. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. And I think that we will all enjoy a nice change, a nice refreshing change in the world together. It's so funny because like we were showing on Tuesday night, in the last segment we did, where the Dems on the View, the Dems is losing it, being delusional. This is not normal. Nobody thinks it's normal. Even the Trump supporters don't think it's, they're lying to their audience as usual. That's normal, right? But they think all this exposing corruption and pointing out criminality and auditing things and looking into stuff, that's abnormal. They think that what kind of world is this? It's changing everything. How dare they? How dare they? How dare they shine a light into the darkness, right? So that to them is crazy. To us, it's like that's the way it should have always been, right? That's the way it should have always been. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. Hi, Shinny. The government doesn't lie. I'm an anarchist for a reason. Practical anarchy. Oh, that's you're funny. You're funny, Jacob. I mean, I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. Well, practical anarchy could just look like constitutionality, maybe. Could be. It could. It's just we're just all scarred from a lifetime of abuse by a corrupt system that has trained us to believe that our system can't work the way it's supposed to. Right? By subverting it, they've trained us to believe it can't work the way it's supposed to. I say, before we throw everything out, we give it a shot doing it the honest way, the by the book way, the integral way, with competent people running things, and we see how good it looks then. That's always been my thing, is that we haven't had a chance, at least in our lifetimes, to have this thing work the way it's supposed to work. So that's why, always been about, we have to get the corruption out. We have to keep it out. We have to identify the root cause issues of it, how it continuously, generation after generation is there. It's not the Constitution's fault. I don't believe it's Constitution's fault. Maybe too much freedom and liberty, but I'm not an authoritarian, and I doubt an anarchist would agree with that either. But perhaps the system really will work right when it's not subverted by Marxist ideas, when you don't have a big government, subverted, lying, criminal party in charge, right? And when we have people with integrity that really want to go by the Constitution, now here comes the old Ron Paul part of me, right? Who really wants to go by the Constitution with limited government. Let's go all the way down to, it's not in the Constitution, but the founding fathers didn't want a central bank, getting down to making our currency legitimate. Let's just see how this thing would work first, if it was functioning with honesty and integrity. And then we can decide whether we need to throw everything out. But I think that we need to get to that part first. And then, you know what? Here's the great part. If we can get to that point first, we can actually have a legitimate conversation about which would actually be better walking into the future, right? For America, not, everybody else, but just for us. And what would work best here going into the future is it a more, I can't tell you, getting rid of the federal government just doesn't seem like it's possible, right? But I know that the essence of anarchy is this no government, self-ownership kind of thing, which is, it's pretty cool. But when you have monsters out there like China and other places that would just love to ransack this place, When you don't have protection from that, I think that might be a little troublesome. But if we have a peaceful world where Marxism doesn't exist and everybody's living free, that could be a time to have that conversation. But I think we have to get there first. And that's the beauty part, is that if we can clean the system out and we can actually make the government function the way it's constitutionally supposed to, we can actually have that conversation legitimately. You won't have people dissuading it or throwing it out. You can actually have that conversation about how do we evolve over time in a way that's best for everybody. And with technology ramping up, it's hard to have. It's going to be hard to have that anarchy without technology somehow involved in doing things for us. But again, that's the conversations we gotta be able to legitimately have. And the problem with ideological conversations is this: they always start from the best possible scenario when that's not what we're in. They always start from the most ideal versions of the ideology, and that's not where we're at. We have a corrupt system, so we have to decorrupt the system, right? So you can't. That's the thing I used to tell V Radio and other people that want to have ideological debates, right? What's the point? Because everybody always starts from a point of everything works perfectly and ideally, and there's no bad actors involved, right? And there's no corrupt systems involved. There's no corrupt money involved, and there's nothing underlying. There's no underlying dark conspiracies going on, right? That's every Marxist, communist, socialist in the world always starts from a point where their ideology works perfectly. And what I've always said is, if you want to have an ideological debate, come to the table, list out the faults of your ideology, the loopholes, the areas that can be exploited and corrupted, and come with solutions. That's the ideology I think is going to win, is the one that understands its weaknesses and understands how it can be exploited and corrupted and abused and turned on its head, and has solutions in hand for it. So I put that out there to anybody who wants to tout an ideology. Have those things in mind, right? As far as mine goes, I'm showing it every night. I'm showing it every night. Stop the cycle of abuse. Arm the youth with logic and true history and other tools, mental tools to resist subversion and then build them with the skills they really do need to exist in this world, not stupid things. Don't puzzle their mind with some kind of weird critical theory bullshit, which we're getting rid of, which is awesome. But arm them with logic, truth, logic, reason, and truth, and then generationally things start to get better, right? That's that solution, along with other ones like getting rid of corruption, and other things like that. So I bring the exploits of a free society is that free speech. Anybody can say anything. So you have to resist the fallacies, right? The false logic that people are going to try to put out there to manipulate and grip people, right? So I attack that root cause issue with that root cause solution, saying, well, this is definitely a thing that we've learned from being a free country, that you can be easily subverted. And we're an open country. Yuri tells you this, and every Marxist knows it, that the way to break a country like ours with freedom is to do it over time by subverting the youngest generations and slowly corrupting the system and drawing it apart, division, things like that, right? So I look at those as the root cause issues. I propose root cause solutions. So that's me coming to the table with my ideology, with solutions in hand for the way they can be exploited. So I say to anybody that has one, think about it that way, do that work, and come to the table with that. When we have a clean system to work from, and we could actually look at what we have, come to the table with that. And I think you're going to find the conversation goes a lot better. Let me actually, before I bring this up, this is our next thing. We're going to get to RFK and make America healthy again right next, man. Right next. That's coming up right here after I skim down the chat here. Let's see what people have to say about that little piece I just talked about. I'll believe it when I see it. I see actions more than just talk. Absolutely, Dark Lotus. Absolutely. They got to prove it. They got to show up with results. That's for sure. That is for sure. A lot of people just having a good time talking to each other out there in the crowd. Yep, Scott, you should be. It should be. I don't disagree with that at all. Are skunks swimming laps? the skunk works. Yeah, Lockheed Martin skunk works definitely did it. They definitely did it. Yeah, that's my Stephen Greer Rain Man impression, by the way. Okay, back from my swim. You went swimming? That was a quick swim. Where'd you swim to? Winning. I'm thirsting for convictions. Yes, we all are. I know it's so hard. Darth Kitty, I feel you. I feel you. It's so hard watching bad people get away with things and succeed. It's so like I'm not just talking like the and macro to micro, okay? From the biggest ones out there to the ones in your life to the ones right next to you. Seeing people behaving badly and getting away with it, hurting other people, trying to just extinguish the lights of others, and getting away with it, and seemingly even almost prospering from it is very frustrating to see. It's very frustrating to see those who do harm do well. Believe me, and all the way up from the Clintons to the person stabbing you in the back that's right next to you smiling, right? It's hard. But as the tipping point comes, as good overtakes evil in this world and becomes a stronger presence, right now we have a very evil presence in this world. It's been dominant for generations, and we have work to do to change that without going too far, right? And as that tipping point moves on that spectrum, as good it becomes the prevalent choice for people, those people will get theirs. And they can all they have right now is time ticking away like sands through an hourglass. So keep your faith, keep doing the right thing, and justice will be served. But I am with you. I'm ready for it too. The good path is the right path, but it is the path of a lot of suffering and a lot of waiting and a lot of patience. So keep at it. You got friends right here. We get you. See, that's the awesome thing about this crowd. This is why I hope you come to the shows, you hang out, you get to know each other, and then we grow this scene, right, as the alternative to those other scenes that are the toxic scenes that are out there. The toxic choices that people can make in terms of what they consume as far as content goes. I hope if it's one thing we can create is a space in this world for the good people to hang out, people that get you and want the best for you, people that pray for you instead of pray on you. That's the scene you're in right here, and that's what we need to keep growing. And I hope we reach the people that want that and they find us. Some of that's going to be up to you guys, and some of that's going to be up to the it's all going to be up to the big man upstairs. But it's like we have to and in time it'll come. But that's up to you guys too. Bring some people here like you and show them that, hey, here's people that get you. You are so my many me. Oh wait, hold on, that's personal. Oh, you're all good. You're all good. You're all good. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna get to the next story because I'm trying to find the kitten was just. I love the conversations though. Anarchy in the UK, Sex Pistols, okay. Set up that song that Shelley said, you'll have to have me on your show someday so we can gently unpack this. Oh, on Talking Trash and Truth show. Okay, cool. Snipe, Marxism is the only road to stop corruption. Not. It is the corruption, isn't it? Communism, like terrorism, is impossible to eradicate. Yeah, we have to manage it, right? We have to manage it. I'd love to see it eradicated. I think there is a way to do it, but we got a ways to go before we get there. But you have to destroy it through education, and you have to destroy it through mental health. Mental health destroys communism and Marxism. Marxism at the core. Communism is it's economical arm of it, right? It's the economical arm of it. But we destroy that ideology through long-term education, strong mental health, and making it the worst thing on earth to be. Making it just that's the devil. It's literally the devil's ideology, right? It's literally the ideology of evil, and we do that by recalling all the deaths and all the horrible things that's done in this world and making a history of it. I mean, we build museums of just the horrors of Marxism, and expose it from the root up. So many people don't know the history of Marxism, how it started, who paid for it, and why they created it. Marx just, he was a writer. He was a drunk, a not well liked, grumpy, mean, selfish person. He was a writer, and he wrote a story around a system, a grift created by bankers. So, and it was to destroy and manufacture people's consent for evil and demoralization. And I can go on and on about that. We'll talk about it another time. But yeah, we need to expose it from the ground up. But ideas survive underground waiting to research. They do. That's all you have to. That's why I talk about social culture. Like, you have to prepare for. It's a generational war, right? Even if we wipe it out for 3 generations, it'll try to come back in the 4th, right? So we have to be prepared. We have to teach the lessons of the past and true history and never let it be overwritten. And you got to hand that down. You got to think generationally, because that's the way they do. 3 generations down the road, those kids getting this information like fresh, right? Never forget to teach the youngest generation about this, right? And you'll be safe, safer. You still got to do the work. The same can be said for our form of government. Ideas are always gaining and ceding ground. Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's the ebb and flow thing. So, but I think there's a way to control the ebb and flow, manage it in a certain way. That's just what I'm proposing. This is what I think from my decades of trying to figure this shit out. Educating the kids is basic life skills, common sense, thick skin. Yeah, and logic. I'll throw logic in there for you. And logic is so important to understand what it really means. People hear the word and they say, well, that sounds good. They see Mr. Spock and they go, well, that's not logical, Jim, right? But it's really about understanding how language works, right? And being able to peel back whether a premise is false or true. Right. And then, because once it's a false premise, everything that comes after it's going to be a fallacy. It's based on a false premise. Well, what fallacies are being used? Now, you use the fallacies to identify the fact that where they're coming from is false. And then you go back and look at the premise and you can discover that this is false because they're using circular logic and then they defend it with defense mechanisms like straw men's, red herrings, and ad hominem attacks. Right. So you learn the methodology of a grifter or a liar or a scammer or someone like that. And and which many of us didn't have the privilege of learning growing up. We should have all been taught this. We'd be in a better place right now. But things like Marxism aren't going to fly. Gender critical theory crap bullshit. Just complete mind control. Then we can stamp that shit out, and then we put it in a cage, right? So there's still going to be some assholes out there that feel rejected by the world and want to grasp onto evil, right? We put it in a cage and we all point at it and say, "See, that's what we don't want to be." So hard times make strong people, easy times make them weak. Yeah, we got to figure out one for that too. It is a human condition though. We've got to figure out one for that too, where it doesn't include harming people. Maybe sometimes we got to fall down and get back up, and that's just the way it goes. What I don't want is us to evolve to a place where it's too easy for the evil to control too many for too long. Then it seems like it's hopeless. Like, okay, let me give you an example, like the Matrix or something, right? Where everybody's just locked into a tube and like trying to, yet still there's Zion, yet still Zion was just like, I talk about the Matrix itself being the first veil perception and Zion being the second veil, like where they were still in a system of control and didn't realize it. But something that gets so hopeless and so much destruction goes on that it's hard to come back from. So that's what we try to do right now. Like we could literally try to do that and go into a golden age, or perhaps we get into a rhythm of not going through these changes so rapidly. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it looks like yet. My point here is this point where in time where we're at, dealing with this is what my specialty is. And then thinking about how to perhaps not fall back into it through taking away the things that enable it, right? Doing a lot of talking tonight. Sorry, that just means I'll have more for tomorrow night. That's okay because we're having a good conversation. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Isn't that what it's all about, right? All right. So yeah, so many nights I just run through content, don't have the good conversations like those with the crowd. So that's great. I'm glad we're doing it. So I have no problem just letting that story sit there until we get to the bottom of this chat. Rayman came back. And the lake, you went swimming in a lake? It was cold. Still trying to dig my nuts out of my stomach, I bet. Swimming in a lake, huh? All right. Well, watch out for them lake creatures. It must be, where the hell do you live? You're swimming in a lake this time of year. Holy crap. Oh, it's lake swimming. We have the moral convictions. Now let's just see some judicial ones. Yeah, let's just do it. Remember, guys, listen to the wolf. Listen to the wolf. And as we was talking about, how are we doing on wolf listening? We're doing pretty good. We're up to 24 likes. There is a goal out there. If you guys are enjoying the show, want to support the channel, I would appreciate it. Let's see. And you can unlock some sexy or some very cute super chat, Chris. Make sure if you do send a super chat, you'll let me know what you prefer, if you can. Let's see. Okay. Amen, honey. Bad people are much more acceptable than those who just want to live their lives without doing harm to anyone. Much more acceptable? Oh, what do you mean? I'm lost on that one. I think I know what you mean, but I don't want to assume. Are you gonna send pics? Oh, well, send them. I'll put them on screen right here. We can all take a look. Oh, geez, that's not good. That's not good. Am I to the end of this? Where did Jacob go? I thought Jacob would have something to say. Hopefully he's still out there. Let's see. Darth Kitty, people, my sons and grandfathers included in my life, have a thick skin around me because I'm honest as fuck. Yeah, there you go. There, and some people hate that. Some people hate when people want to be honest. Because they're not. That's the thing. And they'll isolate the honest people. They'll push them away because that way they can be dishonest and be crummy and be shitty, and nobody's there to call them on it. Wish me luck because homework is this bad. Good luck with your homework on spring break. Oh man, spring break. That's coming up, isn't it? Man. In better times, I used to take a trip every spring break. Right now, it ain't gonna happen. A couple things I'd like to share. The Hourglass is a great song by Savage, Ohio has made into law execution by firing squad. Okay, thanks for that. Okay, we got to get back to it. There's Jacob. There he is. Okay, cool. Status of Yuri. There you go. Statues of Joseph McCarthy. Logic isn't something the unwilling will grasp. Yeah, you have to gamify it. That's why I say start with the youngest generation. Gamify it, and they'll love it, right? They'll just do it naturally. I mean, we do it with everything. We do it with other things already. Gamify it, make it into, those kind of things. And that this also will help guard them against, being groomed in any different way. There's also narcissistic grooming, which is we have this epidemic on display called covert narcissism that destroys lives every day. It's always passed down. It's always passed down. It's always through trauma that this nasty, debilitating condition occurs, and you see it manifesting through people like Amber Heard and others. But in the bigger picture, but it's happening to people every day. Abuse is the cycle of abuse, right? So if we start with the youngest generation and just realize that generations that came before afflicted by it have to age out. Some will escape, some will not. Some will realize, some won't. That's acceptable. But if we start with the youngest generation and on a widespread level, make them resistant to it through teaching them logic in a fun and adoptable way for children, they could become more resistant. And so I always said, instead of we got to get the critical theory out of there, critical gender theory. Instead of teaching them wokeism and all that crap, we should be teaching narcissism prevention, like teaching them about the tactics of narcissists and how they attack them and how they hurt them, and call them out. They more kids understood what gaslighting and manipulation was, whether they were getting it at home, at school, from an adult or from a kid, because groomed kids groom kids, no matter what the grooming is. Then it would be, maybe hopefully whittled down to a manageable level, and we would have a better society through that too. That's just another one of my ideas out there for discussion. But statues of Patrick Henry. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm almost down there. Wow, so much chat tonight. I feel like I'm T3 here trying to catch up with the chat. 9/11. I'm only 4 minutes behind. See, I agreed. You can't compel people to be good faith actors or conversations, Heidi. Okay. You can't compel them, but you can make a culture. You can turn make it into a culture, a solution culture, where it's just part of the. Think about they ideological subversion's always done on a generational level, right? And they have all the generations. Authoritarian regimes they have generations to go. We talked about this the other night, how you could, like, someone in China can put a line item on an agenda, that's not due for 32 years. They have that much time to long-term plan. We don't long-term plan here, but we got to realize our enemies do. It's a generational war. We have to approach things that way with generational solutions. That's how we beat the bad guys in the long run. And we can't use any kind of like preconceived things, because we haven't never taken this approach before. That's again why I put it out there. We've never taken this approach before, so we don't know the results, and we only have the experience of having that short-term, one-generational, moment-to-moment kind of mindset. So what if we changed the culture, made it into a solution culture, which is like, I don't know if you see my chart, Lotus, but that goes to my Unveiling Reality series, Veils of Perception, like where I chart all this out. So a lot of people here get it because they've seen it, but it occurred to me you might not have seen that before. And that's what I'm referring to. I have a whole system kind of like mapped out of where all this mind control shit happens. And it's a cycle of abuse, power is a cycle of control. It's this whole big thing I've done. It's a conglomerate of like decades of work and research. I met just another guy up here trying to run his mouth and say stuff, but everything that I'm talking about is the stuff that comes from a long-term fight against corruption, this corrupt establishment, and especially against mind control, how it works. I set out a long time ago to figure this out, and this is the conglomeration of my work right here. And then this is a news show, so I probably shouldn't get too deep into it. But my Unveiling Reality series of Veils of Perception, I showed the chart, I showed the board, I explained the Veils of Perception, how they work, as I've come to understand them through decades of research and dedicated thought, research, and study of these topics. So that's what I put it out there for everybody to understand. So I do come from a place. I'm not just coming off the top of my head or talking on my ass. This is really a lot of work and time and effort that come through. These ideas have been made from. So it's out there. So maybe someone can throw him a link to the Veils of Perception stream, and that's a start, right? I literally Unveiling Reality. I talk about it constantly, except for the UFO alien rabbit hole grip. That's a little side thing. But it's out there. It's out there. All right. I gotta get down here. Okay. Somebody wants some cats. All right. I got my cats. Whoa, where are you going, dude? Right here? Right there. Thank you for the super chat, Heidi. $5 super chat. She gets cats. She wants cats. She gets cats. And then you guys get the woof. Woof. All right. All right. Let's get on to this next story, guys. I enjoyed talking about that. It's easier to plan long term, like China and USSR, when you know the same culture will be in charge for dinner. Yep, that's the thing, and that's the way Marxists work. They have ideological subversion is a long term plan, generational corruption. No one's ever tried to counter it before. We always age out before we get to it, and so the idea is that you arm the youngest generation now, so that generations down the road, they are resistant to it as we start pulling it away and removing the enablement for it through the funding, through the critical theory, through all that, getting that shit away from them. At the same time, you got to put something in place to make sure when it tries to come back, it can't. That's the idea. Preventative measures, key part of solution culture. All right, here we go. Here we go, guys. We are so excited to cover anything having to do with Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., because he is going to make America healthy again. Here is Tim Timody talking about the latest. And we'll get, I hope we have so much to talk about on this topic. I mean, I would just love it. I want more streams of this happening. But here we go. RFK issues ultimatum to food companies, says no more dyes. And West Virginia gets on board.
The Daily Caller. Big Soda floods state capitol in unprecedented fashion to lobby against MAHA. So RFK Jr. has apparently issued an...
Oh my God. Guys, this is what I'm going to look at me. I'm already stopping it. This is why I need a financial backer right now to put out Winning Edge. Hold on a second. I gotta get a Winning Edge before I to counter Big Soda. My plan will destroy soda forever. At least this crappy version of it.
Ultimatum to these big food producers. We got this from the Vigilant Fox. And this is actually from a couple days ago. This is Robert Kennedy will meet with senior leaders of the processed foods industrial complex to discuss potential topics ranging from banning seed oils and certain food additives to nutrition labels as the MAHA revolution begins. So as most of you know, I've been harping on this one for quite a bit because this may be one of the biggest stories in the country right now. West Virginia banned artificial food dyes in food, in schools, and just in general. The legislature passed this. It's supposed to go into effect in 2028. The Senate extended it by a year, giving them 3 years to figure this out. These big soda companies are now going to the government and trying to get the governor to veto this or to stall it. Daily Caller says, lobbyists from the American Beverage Association descended on West Virginia State Capitol building on Tuesday in an attempt to thwart a bill that would ban synthetic food dyes. And these are largely made from petroleum, by the way. National lobbyists who rarely, if ever, show up in Charleston came out in full force to oppose HB 2345, which would ban the in-state sale of any food products containing red 3, red 40, yellow 5, 6, blue, and blue 1 and 2, as well as green 3. Newly minted Health and Human Service Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has lambasted the synthetic dyes and touted studies which show the dyes are linked to negative behavior outcomes in children. I'll tell you this. I got a question for everybody.
Yep.
Why is it that when I look at the ingredients on my food item, instead of putting cochineal mite residue, they write red 40?
Oh, God.
Imagine if they wrote cochineal mite residue, parentheses, insect paste, and
okay, hold on. Okay, that's really great, Tim. But why the fuck are you drinking it? Like, why are you drinking it? You know why you're drinking it? Because you don't have an alternative. You are trapped into a mindset, right? Because you don't know what else to do. I still like it. That's what keeps people drinking that shit, right? You don't have an alternative. You're not real. You talk about culture. You talk about wanting to win the culture war, right? But you're not winning your own culture war with yourself. That's why you need me to create a new brand. See, Body Armor Edge. This is one of 2 great Body Armor Edge with caffeine boost. See it? That are left, I believe, in the world. I have 2. I haven't cracked them. I'm saving them, right? I did this last time when they were going out of business because they stopped making these. I did this last time and I drank them all because this is my drink. This drink right here will get you to stop drinking soda. I promise you that. It's so good and it has an nice even caffeine boost for those of us who are older and need a caffeine boost. Right? It's healthy for you. It's hydrating, right? And you won't miss the bubbles. But if you want bubbles, I'll probably make a soda for you. I'll probably make bubbles for you if you want bubbles. I'll do it. But they didn't market this right. They did not market this right. Right? They didn't market it the way they should have. They didn't care for this product the way they should have cared for it because it should have been the greatest thing that ever happened. So I am proposing that I buy these formulas, that I buy this production, right? And turn this into Winning Edge. Winning Edge. Right? And I will tackle and take on the soda industry and I will destroy it. and I will save people's teeth. I will save their health. I will save the world from soda. Now I'll create a soda out of this stuff too, right? I'll create a soda, but I don't think I think you'll find when you drink these that you don't need to drink a soda anymore. You want some bubbles? That's fine. Whatever. I'll put bubbles. I'll make a bubble brand for you, right? For you bubble addicts. But get you away from the high fructose corn syrup and all the dyes, because high fructose corn syrup is nothing but super sweet GMO corn. You're literally drinking corn. You're drinking candy, right? You're drinking candy corn. That's what you drink when you drink a soda. I don't care if it says diet. That's even worse. Aspartame. All that shit. I know. I know. And it's one of those things where people, I'm so used to it. And I mean, even Trump is with his freaking Diet Coke, man. He should know better. Oh, well, he's old. Let him do it. Let him run. No, I don't know. No, I'm not going to outlaw it. Everybody should have. I want you to put your stinking badass, your bad choice products out there, so I can put my good choice product next to it and see, this is better, right? And it's gonna. And not only that, but when there's a demand for it, there's many different flavors you can get. And I don't actually. This isn't actually a real brand, by the way. If you're watching anywhere, I'm not selling anything. I don't have any sponsorships. This is an idea I have for a product, about a product that went out of business. This product is out of business, but you can't buy this anywhere. I happen to have 2 bottles of it saved. That's the only reason I have it. But if there's an investor out there, a lot of money, who wants to take on the soda industry and who wants to help save America from some very bad cultural habits of soda, right? I mean, look, think about it. There's Coca-Cola Museum, there's Coca-Cola stickers and Pepsi stickers and all that shit all over the place, man. It is part of our culture to drink shit, right? So we got to change that, Tim. Like, why does my soda say it has so much bad stuff in it? I can't stop drinking it. Like, why are you drinking it if it says that? And then you pick a point of it. I guess that's what you're doing. Maybe you're just trying to use it as an example and you have a better choice in your hand. I can't tell what you're drinking. No, Body Armor Edge went out of business. Like their caffeine version. This version right here, you can't find this anywhere. Like, I happened to find a case for sale on Amazon, and this case was $50. Usually the cases were like 20, 25. So I paid double just to have one of the last cases. Yeah, I mean, dude, this is abuse. They're full on profiting off your bad health. And not only that, the sad part about it is it happens to kids, right? It's happening to kids. And then kids grow up thinking that it's okay. My son grew up not drinking this stuff, knowing what it was, knowing how bad it is, and he does not want it. And that's an awesome thing. That saved so much for him in his life, and because I knew how bad that shit was. And now he has a clear head about it, but he needs to have choices, needs to be off choices. He drinks the regular Body Armor. That's his favorite. And that's good for him. It's hydrating and it's healthy. It's all that stuff. So anyways, we have to get back to it, but yeah. Well, yes, you can. You just have to give him a better choice. And then when everybody else is doing, they do it. I'm allergic to fake sugars. I think a lot of people are. A lot of people are. All right, let's get back to it.
And bracket and parentheses. A lot of people would be like, I ain't eating that. And this is what they do with cricket as well. What's the word for cricket? There's another word.
Chitin.
Do you remember what it is?
Millet?
Chitin.
No, it's not millet.
No.
It's chitin. No, why do you have idiots on your panel, Tim? Oh God, I'm gonna go off on Tim. Tim, why do you have idiots like Ian on your panel? Like, seriously, these guys don't know shit. You're trying to run a show, man. Get somebody with some knowledge on there that can match you. You need to bring equals to the table, not people that are so far down and below in their learning and their experience and their understanding of the world. I get it. You want to come across looking the best, right? But you honestly to do the best you can with what you have, this beautiful reach, the success you have, right? You need to have equals on the show. Look at this guy. Look at this clown. Not Tim. Look at this clown.
What's the word for cricket? There's another
Nobody
word.
knows.
What is it? Do you remember what it is?
Millet?
I'm going to criticize him.
No.
Look at it. He's on his fucking phone. This idiot's on his phone. He doesn't know shit. Why is he there? He's not even I used to think that I'm going to go off. I used to think that he was on the show because he was a good guitar player. He's not. He doesn't know how. He really doesn't know how to play guitar at all. Like his right hand is garbage, absolute garbage. And they put him in the videos like he's doing something. He can't play, dude. He can't play. And so, yeah, I don't mind calling him out, but I don't understand why this guy gets to be on the show and you don't have smarter people on there. Like, and then the rest of the guys aren't doing much better. There's some dude with an Indian thing on his head, right? This is a clown show. But let's just listen to the news they're trying to give us. And I'll stop criticizing his choices and co-host. What was the other guy said? Somebody said something. Lotus said something. I wanted to catch. Wait, where was the one about Ian and the USSR? I saw that somewhere. He's the heel. Yeah, he is the heel. He's a damn good heel because he's got me pissed off. Tim is afraid not to be the smartest person. Yeah, but that's a shame because when you have this thing, this beautiful thing, you need to take advantage of it and educate people with it. And I don't know that he understands that completely yet. All right, I'm going to say it like that. Where is the one you said where oh, here it is. Did you see Tim lose his mind when Ian brought up the USS? It was priceless. Oh, I got to see that. Ian's an idiot. He's a Trustafarian kid who's had everything handed to him. And he doesn't need to be on the show. Yeah. See, everybody feels the same way, yet there he is. So I guess Tim, he lost his shit, really? Are we friends on X? Will you join my X channel? Will you follow me on X and throw it out there for people and send it to me? So a private DM it to me so I have it. I got to see it. Ian brought up the USS Liberty. Oh, okay. I see it. The Statue of Liberty. Okay, I gotta see it. Ian doesn't know shit. Look at it. He's on his phone. What is he doing? Okay, stop. This is not news. All right, let's go.
No. Yeah, they have a word for cricket, so they cannot put cricket on the food label.
It's called chitin.
I'll look it up.
Chitin.
Let me. Yeah, Chat's probably already got it. It is called where
chitin.
Is that?
Acheta protein. ACHETA.
No.
Acheta. That's
really. Yeah.
It's called chitin.
That's a new word.
Protein. I guess these are the tricks they use to make you eat the bugs. What if I told you guys that red dyes, I don't know which one, are made with cochineal mites? You ever see this one?
Gross.
Oh. We did talk about this on the show before, but let's get it.
Can we get back to the news?
Cochineal mite red dyes. How come nobody wants to show the picture of that little bug? Oh, look at this. Whole cochineal insects from
this one, Shelley?
colors. Oh, they're out of stock. Whoa. Wait. Jeez. What? Oh, apparently they have like an aluminum compound in their bodies, which is bright red. And so they breed them, mash them up, bugs. But check this out. At least a dozen U.S. states rush to ban common food dyes, citing health risks.
I love this.
It's great. Yes, it is. And so West Virginia needs lobbying right now. This means we need RFK Jr. and his cohorts and other big look, there's a big opportunity here. You want to get rich? Open up a food processing factory, plant, whatever, that doesn't use these artificial dyes, and you will own the market in a few years.
Again, if you're out there and you're sitting on a lot of money, okay, I want to buy this from Body Art. They still have the formula, they still have the processing, they still have all this. I want to buy this from them and change it to Winning Edge. If you want to get rich, I will go out there. I'll stop doing this channel. I'll go out there every day. Well, I'll probably do it at night, but I'll do it every day. I'll go out and I will make this the soda killer. It will become like you wouldn't, it will be take over like you wouldn't believe, because most people haven't tried it. And the thing about it is when I get people to try this, they love it. They absolutely love it. And I'll be like, Tim, I took your advice. Put me on the show, but just don't have an idiot in an Indian headdress, a knucklehead and a stoned hippie on the show, and I think we'll do just fine.
These mass producers are fighting this. So if we can get big companies to tell the governor that they're going to commit to producing food in the state to adhere to the new ban on artificial dyes and say, screw the big producers, you are not only going to see these investors are going to make mad bank. because it's basically right now zero. The amount of food production in the state without artificial garbage in it is like close to zero. Everything's got some garbage in it. I'm sure there's stuff like tortillas, which don't have dyes in them. It's just cornmeal.
It's not just dyes, dude. Why am I arguing with Tim? Let's just get through this. This is about RFK. God damn it. It's just go on and on and on. Oh God, now the guy at the headdress is talking. All right, I gotta stop. No, it's about GMOs. It's about artificial food. We want clean, real food, and RFK Jr. is the man to bring it to us. So we're gonna be watching this very closely. I'm super excited about everything that's happening here with that, and I hope you guys are too, because we're gonna get healthy together. But again, if you're wealthy and you want a good investment, I'm your man. Winning Edge. Let's go. All right. What next? What next? What next? We did that. We did that. Oh yeah, let's go to OMG. Let's go to OMG. And James O'Keefe. Guys, what's up out there in the chat? Guys, if you can, remember to always listen to the Wolf. Rumble, we're counting on you. Please thumbs up, follow, join the cause, join the solution, be part of us. We're winning reality together. You're part of it too. Not just a name, it's an idea. It's a great idea. It's one you should subscribe to and hang out with. Let's go. But we're counting on you on Rumble side because that's how we get out into the algorithm. Yeah, see, he doesn't know shit. I bet you he doesn't even own a graphene jacket. I got a graphene jacket. He didn't have one. I knew about graphene when he was still smoking pot in his mom's basement. I don't know. He was still in diapers. I was stoned then too. I knew about graphene a long time. I thought it was going to replace all the glass. Honestly, I thought it was going to replace glass in every building around the world, but it didn't. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't even own any graphene. I bet he doesn't even invested in it. He just talks about it and it became his thing now. Because he always like, well, but we couldn't make it out of graphene. Yeah, here, had this graphene mask to wear during COVID. You can wear this graphene mask, Ian. I'll give you a whole case of them to wear. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah. This is where we're going. James O'Keefe. Always got
my name is David Nelson.
Always got the good stuff. He has an IRS whistleblower named David Nelson, who was a tax examiner who's blowing the whistle for real. Not like a Stephen Greer bullshit whistleblower, but a real one. A real whistleblower. This is him. Looks just like that. Just like this. All right. And he's going to tell us about how he's going to tell us all the bad stuff happening in the IRS. And on the tail end of this, I got some tax news for you that you're going to love. All right. You're going to check. I hope it works out, but we're going to go with that after this. Let's hear it.
Do you work?
I work for the Internal Revenue Service.
The
technical position is called a tax examining technician.
What do you want the American people to know?
We have very antiquated systems. They aren't integrated. We're basically handcuffed. One of the reasons I'm coming out is I'm not afraid of losing a career. I'll fall on the sword if it means I can help the American people and help everyone else at the.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. I know this guy. Wait a minute. Nerd, is this your cousin? This is like Nerd's cousin. I think this is Nerd's cousin. Where Nerd, are you out there lurking? Lurking and twerking? I think your cousin's on TV.
IRS who are doing their jobs. I want to set an example for my kids.
Cousins do a lot better.
It leaves something that they can aspire.
Making the family proud.
Your kids.
My kids. That they know my dad did that.
Hartman?
And I'm going to bull ahead and do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Oh, it's a scary thing for people. You can lose your career over doing the right thing.
David Nelson is blowing the whistle on the IRS.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you're just a little suspicious. I think that James O'Keefe is really good about not letting people screw with him. He's really good. So when O'Keefe has him on, I think we're in good hands here. I think this guy's legit.
IRS. He is a tax examining technician at the IRS out of the Covington, Kentucky office, a position that reviews and corrects tax returns. He is concerned about the inefficiencies plaguing the agency and the use of highly outdated technologies which are not integrated.
I mean, that's great and all. And still, I mean, it's a concern because, you know, I'm an advocate for getting rid of the federal income tax. I have been for decades, but now more than ever, especially since we figured out what they were doing with that money and it wasn't good and they can never pay us back. Do I see someone new pop in here? Vinyl, what's up? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, you're right on time. Let's go. But we still have to be concerned with, you know, people that are eventually still going to be taxed in businesses, right? So this is still important.
At a time when there are discussions to reform and revamp the IRS, we met David at his home alongside his family, and he took the extraordinary step of going public, going on the record, and blowing the whistle on the outdated system called IDRS and what he would do to reform it.
What do you want the American people to know?
Hold on. Wait. I know what we should do to reform it. I really do know what should we do. We should do this. Delete.
We have very antiquated software. We use a software called Integrated Data Retrieval System.
IDRS.
IDRS.
It dates back to when?
Late 1960s. This tells you about IDRS, when it was first implemented, when it was implemented throughout all the service sites.
1969. That's when they put the man on the moon. And how do you think this system affects the IRS's efficiency?
A ton. We can't do anywhere close to what the American people think. The whole U.S. tax system being built on a program that was created in the late 1960s. That's absurd. It's command code driven.
Command code consists of low-level instructions for operating computers, and it is deemed outdated because of the emergence of higher-level programming languages that improve productivity and usability. It is similar to MS-DOS, which is so antiquated that it hasn't been widely utilized in our education system for decades.
You could think of like MS-DOS, but older. That's probably the most relevant thing that people could think of. We could probably reduce the size of the IRS substantially with changes, programs, a centralized inventory system, replacing IDRS.
This is your suggestion.
In light of the IRS drafting plans to cut its workforce by as much as half through a mix of layoffs, attrition, and incentivized buyouts, David has solutions on how to reform the IRS.
Let's go.
This is something I made kind of as a hobby on weekends.
You basically created a solution to reform the IRS as a hobby.
For my small unit. I'm a huge geek.
You're a patriot as far as I'm concerned.
The IDRS system is a system which enables IRS employees to have instantaneous visual access to certain taxpayer accounts. The problem is the system is so antiquated, it takes an unusually long time to get basic tasks accomplished.
I don't know.
Mailing
I kind
a
of
letter
like it
to
that
a
way.
taxpayer, copying and pasting addresses, and transferring information from one to the other. David says this is all hurting the American people through extreme inefficiencies, and he walked us through the Kafka-esque process IRS employees have to deal with.
6112 letter.
I know. I'm okay with them being bogged down and unable to perform their duties.
Complete the letter. We have to copy from IDRS the taxpayer's name and address into that letter, manually copy it into there, and then we save that to a case file. It also fills in information from mail out dates, where we have the date the letter is sent out. We have a purge due date that gets copied and printed into the letter. We have to basically just copy and paste.
So this is IDRS right here.
This is IDRS. This is a disclosure tool we use during calls. We put the reason of contact, we enter the taxpayer information, and then there's a drop down and it'll pull up the business information. We ask questions to verify who the taxpayer is. We could do a lot to improve things for the American taxpayer. This tells you
how is that going to be for us, though?
When it was first implemented, when it was.
How is that going to be for us? That sounds great. I think that's wonderful. I'm not finding this very interesting though. And I'm not really for it. So, but there is other news. Let me find it. That's even better than this. Where did I put it? It should be at the top. No. Okay. Oh yeah. Let me just scroll this up. I got it mixed in here somewhere. Oh wait, I know it's on X. That's why I can't. From now on, I gotta remember when I can't find it. I got it stored over on X. And okay, let me get it over here. All right, I see. I got a. Oh yeah, we are connected. Cool. Nice. Bookmarks. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I do have some stuff over here to show you guys. Oh, I hope I put it into a damn. What the hell? It's not here. Oh, I gotta be careful about talking. Okay, give me 1 second. Go to my history. Sometimes I guess that I think I'm adding things to playlists and it doesn't always work out because I've seen a lot of stuff that I meant to put on playlists that aren't there. And that sucks. But anyways, we'll find it. This is great news. I swear it was on X. Give me 1 second, guys. I want to find this for you. It's important. Maybe it is on here. It was Lutnick saying it. Yeah, I found it. Okay, here we go. This is the thing we need to see. This is the thing we need to see. All right, here we go. Speaking of income tax, there's this guy named Lutnick.
But it sounds like you're saying, trust us. And are you worried that at some point, Americans are going to feel like there's a bunch of billionaires in Washington who are playing Russian roulette with our retirement?
$2 trillion deficits don't bother you at all. How could you ask me while we're running a $2 trillion deficit and not care? You're destroying the people who have run this country before, are destroying the future for my children and my children's children. I can't have a 50, 75. We have a $36 trillion deficit. And we used to run deficits of 400 billion. Now 2 trillion, everybody's like, who cares? I tell you what, who cares? Donald Trump cares. And when we balance the budget, you know what that means? That means our deficits stop. Interest rates come smashing down. His goal is to have external revenue. You know, the way I think about it, we all are so used to paying taxes. We're so used to it. We have like Stockholm syndrome. You know, don't stop the Internal Revenue Service, God forbid. How about this? The rest of the world leans on our economy, breathes off our economy. Not only is our economy $29 trillion GDP, but we consume $20 trillion a year. We are the buyer of everybody's stuff. We buy everybody's stuff. So who's more important? The people who sell stuff or the people who buy stuff? So we are the buyer of everybody's commodities, products, goods and services. Everything comes from us, right? Let them pay a membership fee.
Yes.
We all understand that model. Let them pay. How about we, you and I, and every single person we know pay less? How about no tax on tips? How about no tax on overtime? How about no Social Security? How about all those things? These are the kind of thoughts that will change America. I know what his goal is. No tax for anybody who makes less than $150,000.
Did you hear that? Play it again.
For anybody who makes less than 150, that will change America. I know what his goal is.
He knows what the goal is.
For anybody who makes less than 150,000.
Oh yeah. And by the way, it's the least you could do. Considering they've abused our tax system for so long, and like just because you're the new administration doesn't mean you don't have to account for the old stuff. And I think they know that. I think they know that. There's really no reasonable cause for anybody should be paying income tax right now. At all. At all. We've seen through Doge what they've done with that money. We know that it's gone right out the door, right into the bad guys of the world's hands and back into the bad guys of the world's pockets. We know that it's gone towards the corruption and the abuse of people. Why? You owe us. We're not paying you to do this. We're not paying you to go to, we're not paying for this shit. And then we suffer. And then we're the ones. No, nobody should pay income tax, federal income tax ever again, ever, at all. They've shit the bed. I mean, it's too many decades of this happening. We're just talking about what, oh yeah, this is what we did covered. Now that we're in there in 2025, this stuff's been going on our whole life. USAID has been around since Kennedy was president, right? And maybe it had some just causes way back when. But dude, we know how long the corrupt establishment's been in charge. We know how long they've been gaming the system and abusing us and subverting us and lying. You know, we know how long that shit's been going on. We know how long George Soros and the NGOs and the foundations and all that shit's been around. We know how long that budget's been around for them. This instantly approved for everything. We know how long it's been going on. It's been going on our whole lives. No freaking way. No way. No way. No way. No way. Nobody just stop. Just don't do it. If they owe you taxes, get your money back. But other than that, screw them. They're never going to come for you. They're not. They won't. They won't have the manpower. They won't have they won't have the cause. And you don't have to pay. You shouldn't be forced to pay for things you don't believe in, like sending DEI bullshit overseas and whatnot, because that's just a lie anyways. They're not really doing that, right? Maybe some soft power, some soft power bullshit. I don't give a fuck what you call it. I don't care what you call it. We have a money trail of laundering and this stuff going into NGOs and back into Democrat. We're literally playing for our own destruction. People think George Soros is coming out of his pocket. No, he's coming out of your pocket for all the shit he does. You're paying for it. So how are you going to pay us back? You can't give us all $1 million. You'll break the economy. The only way you can do it is by getting rid of federal income tax. And that's it. That's it. All right. We got 2 super chats from AMP33 we got to get to. That puts you out to the $10 range. And $10 range gets you something like this. But because I know you're a lady, I'll throw this one in too. All right. Thank you for the 2 super chats, 2 $5 super chats. That's 15. We're up to 15 towards our goal. And thank you so much. Hugs for T3, and winning is a good boy too. All right. Well, sometimes. sometimes. All right. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and making it happen. It means a lot. It really does. Little by little, we get there together. I demand a refund. I'm taking it all back. The Goonies. Right? Okay. So, anyways, guys, best news we've heard. Something I've been saying. Do you want me to find one that just shows you where they are? I mean, I can do that. Probably wouldn't go over too well. But you can remember the good times. Remember the good times. Always remember the good times. I don't even know where they really are. I'm just kidding. But remember the good times, right? Remember the good times. I'll try to work on getting some ones where they're a little bit more, mild. I don't know. A little different from the beach scene. Called the beach scene. Let the good times bounce. Well, they used to be they were in a bathing suit. So at one point, I'm sure they were in a bathing suit. So I'm sure that's what you mean, right? Okay. But yeah, like I've been saying, there's no way out of this. Federal income tax has to go, and we should be pushing to get rid of it right now. We got all the precedent in the world to do it, and we got the argument in hand. Goodbye, income tax. Goodbye. All right. Get your money from them. Take out max deductions and then tell them to screw off when they want it. All right. Where am I at? Right here. Say, okay, yeah, as soon as you give me my money back from all the misspent money, didn't consent to that. Didn't consent to it. Okay. Where should we go next? All the wonderful places we'll go together. There's some negotiating going on with Ukraine. I want that one to cook another 24 hours. I'll talk about it tomorrow. What is this? See, we did that one. Let me just scroll this up to right here. Okay, there we go. Well, that one big for tomorrow. That one probably tomorrow. We did one of those already. Okay, let's do this. In case you guys don't know, our good friend Gary Franchi, Good Gary, we call him Good Gary. He got a press pass to the White House. He's now part of the press corps, at least Next News Network is. So he has himself and other roving reporters working for Next News Network out there. And thank you, Heidi, for sending this to me. Here's a quick little thing about something that's happening. Let's take a look at it.
Good afternoon. This is Tom McCullough reporting live from the White House for the Next News Network. Moments ago, senior White House counselor Peter Navarro addressed reporters in a press gaggle touting the administration's progress on key economic fronts. Navarro highlighted a recent drop in gas prices, crediting President Trump's push to unleash American energy production. He did say drill, baby, drill is working, and families are feeling the relief at the pump. Data does back this up, and with gas prices dropping as domestic output ramps up under new policies. Navarro also tackled inflation, calling it a fight the administration is winning. He pointed to tariffs as a tool to boost revenue and cut taxes, saying we're shifting the economy to beat inflation with a three-pronged attack: energy, deregulation, and Doge.
Doge.
What we saw today was a beautiful number with great news for the American people with respect to inflation. It is now hit the lowest level in almost 4 years, going back to 2021. We had grocery prices flat. We all know we were suffering with at the grocery store. We saw a fall in gasoline prices. We're seeing a very healthy
focus, man. Focus.
Significant rises in the private sector, particularly in the manufacturing sector. That is the heart and soul of the Trump revolution. We are trying to build a world in which, as in the first term, we have lower regulatory burden, even for small businesses. We have hopefully what would be the best tax code in American history, funded in part by tariff revenues that would benefit, as it did the first term, contrary to rhetoric of some of the media, contrary that would benefit the middle class across the board. And we like where we're moving. It's a transition from Bidenomics to Trumponomics.
From establishmentnomics.
Bidenomics,
Rip off people.
who study the art of economics and sometimes the science. Bidenomics was a very lethal type of economics in two ways. First of all, it consisted first and foremost of these over-aggressive, overstimulated Keynesian spending. Okay, for those who know, Keynesian spending will stimulate economy, but when it's done in a way where it's using money we don't have, and it builds the highest amount of debt we've ever seen in history, it's too much money chasing. Because inflation was the inevitable result. And what that did was build in not the certainty of a recession, but the possibility down the road as we were handed that steaming pie, whatever, and have to bring back fiscal responsibility and restraint. Now, to the extent we do it the way we are doing it, we can avoid the recession that would otherwise have happened if Joe Biden was still in the Oval Office.
Oh yeah, we'd be in
Second
hell right
thing
now.
that Bidenomics is the second major component of Bidenomics. This is really important to understand. There's a concept in economics known as supply shocks. They can be negative supply shocks, like an oil price hike due to some kind of geopolitical event or some kind of weather events. And the problem when you have negative supply shocks is you get two bad things. You get inflation and recession. That's the essence of supply side economics. What you want is positive supply shocks, which will simultaneously tamp down inflation, but also stimulate expansion. So you can actually offset the demand pull inflation with nice positive supply shocks. Now that sounds like a lot of gobbledygook, but let me just say operationally, what that means is that when we drill baby drill and we bring oil down, now it's now $11 where it was, or off a high of 80 during some part of the Biden. If we get that all the way down to 50 or the low 50s, that's sufficient. That's a positive supply shock that does two things. It brings down the rate of inflation, but it also stimulates growth. There's more, just from a consumer point of view, if I get you lower gas.
Real quick. I hate to interrupt his train of thought. Thank you for that. Listen to the Wolf Guys. He knows what he's talking about. Have you ever heard anybody from the establishment side sit out there and give this kind of detailed explanation of how things work? Like, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what they're doing. Really? Sure seems like you do. It seems like they're explaining it to you right in front of your face. I mean, this is like the most calm and gentle, well thought out explanation for how things are going to work. Maybe you should just play this clip over and over again.
Right? That's money that you can spend on everything else, thereby stimulate the economy. When you spend that money on gas, all you do is the salaries, basically the margin. Okay, so if we get that down, that's worth probably a point or more alone off the pool. Right? Then when you do deregulation, you lower the cost of business. That's a positive supply shock as well. And to the extent that DOGE is able to take out the waste, fraud, and abuse, which appears to be rampant based on what we're seeing, all of that helps us with this big puzzle that we're trying to unwrap of stimulating growth without stimulating inflation and bringing back fiscal responsibility in a way which doesn't slow us down. So that's the difference between Bidenomics and Trumponomics 2.0. And I think today's print was a very good one. I think that last week's job report was a very good one. And let's see what we shall see. The last thing I'll say is I would just ask you in the media to understand your responsibility. I know that there's a lot of folks in the media that don't like this president. The media, the legacy media in particular, has published far more negative stories than positive. But when you write or broadcast that there's going to be wild inflation recession, that we set people's hair on fire, that does possibly have impacts on consumer confidence. And when you do that without justifiable data to back
This is
it up,
winning speed.
they're doing that, some of you, it doesn't serve the purpose of this country. It actually do harm. Okay, that's all I have. I can't take questions because this guy's got me going on something else, but I'll be back tomorrow. Happy.
One question.
He just said no questions. Jesus. Can you guys just have some respect? He said no questions. No questions. No questions. All right. I'm realizing that there's some stuff in here I had around this that I wanted to do. It didn't make it in there for some reason. It's breaking news stuff. Just real quick hits. Here we go. Like this one. Why isn't this in the playlist? Like I think sometimes like it doesn't add it to playlist when I tell it to, and that is highly disturbing. So now I go back through my history and be like, oh yeah, I wanted that there. I wanted that there. Why? I've noticed that like sometimes it flashes up on my iPad and doesn't quite do what it says. I want all these in here. I swear I added all these. Well, you guys don't know what I'm talking about right now, but that's okay. Housekeeping. All right. Housekeeping. Yeah, there was that day too. I don't think we want to watch the NATO press conference. I mean, honestly, I just like to get out of NATO. To get all it needs to go. That said, okay, we got that. You got Denton government shutdown stuff. So I got some more quick hits for you coming up. There we go. Okay, good. Now we're all caught up. Now I just hit refresh. Good stuff. Here we go. More top news hits. All right, we got to do this, and then we'll get into the JD Vance border press conference. They're both really short. But we've been putting those up. Amazing disgrace. What's up? I see you snaking down here. What's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. How you been? There you go. There it is. Oh, there's the entrance. Good entrances, man. Oh man, we're all here, man. We're happy to see you. Welcome to the show. All right. Oh no. Now I gotta redo this. All right, it's okay. Let's do it like this. There we go. Sort. All right, we're good to go. Okay, so guys, yeah, here we go. Speaking of economics, let me just go ahead and do this. These are real quick hits coming up. Quick hits. But let me get them in order. Okay. Let's talk about Democrat obstruction and how crappy they are for a minute. But in the news, they are trying to let's take this run right here. This ought to be good. All right, here we go. I got it. It's right here. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Democrats for 30 years straight have said if there's a shutdown, bad things happen. do you anticipate direct negotiations yourself with conference leader of the Democrats, Chuck Schumer?
If they need me, I'm there 100%. It's right now. It's 2 or 3 people. If it shuts down, it's not the Republicans' fault. You know, I
made a good point with his opening about this question. It's like, for all this time, they've been yelling and screaming, "Oh my God, the horrors of a government shutdown!" And towards the end of that, we were just like, "Let it shut down. Screw it. Who cares?" But the people won't. The forest rangers won't get their lunch. You know. Now it's them doing it.
Passed a bill where we had an incredible Republican vote. We only had one negative vote, a grandstander. You know,
grandstander.
There's always a grandstander in the lot. But it was amazing. People were amazed that the Republicans were able to vote in unison like that, so strongly. If there's a shutdown, even the Democrats admit it'll be their fault. And I'm hearing a lot of Democrats are going to vote for it, and I hope they do. This is an extension. But ultimately, we want to vote for one big, beautiful bill where we put the taxes in, we put everything in. We're going to have big tax cuts. We're going to have tremendous incentives for companies coming into our country and employing lots of people. It'll be, I called it, in a rare moment, one big, beautiful bill. That's what I like. And it seems to be that's where they're heading.
All right, so there you go. That's just some breaking news. Some you know, there you have that. Oops, I want to go to this screen. There we go. All right, there you have that. Let's hit the next story. Quick hits. This one's not as quick. What's a hit? I think so.
Democrat Congressman John Larson really calling out Elon Musk and Doge for their what he calls lack of transparency. Roll tape.
Okay, before we gotta do that, we gotta do this. We have to. That's 20. So 20. Oh, here's the new $15 one. Probably haven't seen this one yet. Amazing disgrace, keeping the kids fed, or just you or your pets. Well, thank you. No, I appreciate you taking care of me, man. I appreciate you being part of the solution. Thank you so much. Praising them, but as Stephen Cambia said, praising the money gods or whatever. You got to praise the money gods. I like that, or something. He said something like that. It's pretty good. But thank you so much, God. Thank you so much. That is 4 on the way to our goal tonight. 4 on the way to the goal. An amazing disgrace. You're part of making that happen. Thank you so much. There's a nice little heart for you, and along with your super chat clip. All right. She was warrior style. You like that? All right. Noted. All right. I do remember things. Fed, not feed. Okay. Gotcha. Playing catch up, but Keynesian economics is worth serious analysis. Oh yeah. Then Ron Paul's been speaking out against it, his entire career. So hell yeah. All right, so watch this clown. This is the clownery of the Dems that are in there right now. Because I don't even call them Dems. I call them establishment useful idiots because that's what they are. I mean, I just cut to the chase. But here you go. Watch this guy
for their what he calls lack of transparency. Roll tape.
If he's so great, if these plans and all the fraud and abuse that he found are so evident, why isn't he here explaining it?
Fallacy. Like this is somebody throwing a temper tantrum to get him in the room so they can all take shots at him because he's taking their money and they're mad as hell. They're mad as hell because he is destroying their money laundering schemes and not costing them money. Well, where's my money going to come from if I can't steal it from you guys? Well, to get Elon in here so we can yell at him. Fake outrage, but also very manipulative, in my opinion. Look at the shade of red. I know. Grandstanding. I know. It's worth just sitting here and raging and just giving it to this dude because he's an idiot And the whole idea that they need Elon to be there for some reason is utterly ridiculous. You'll see.
You know why? Because he's out to privatize Social Security. He's been on television the last couple of...
What? Where he just literally, did you guys see him? He reached under the table and pulled that right out of his ass. I saw it.
Days
really fast.
talking exactly about Social Security, Medicare,
This guy next to him is like, stop spitting on me.
and Medicaid, and what he intends to do.
I seen it on TV. He gonna did it. He gonna did it. He gonna do it. That's what he do. He gonna privatize. That's what he gonna do. I'm gonna get my read about it. Yell and scream, spit in the old man's face.
Privatize it.
I didn't hear that. Privatize it. I didn't hear that. Sorry. Anyway, the gentleman on the screen, right-hand side.
Oh, dude. So sorry, old chap. We haven't heard a thing about it. Like, what the hell do it?
Is the co-chair of the Doge caucus. His name is Aaron Bean, and he's joining me now. Congressman, are there any plans for Musk to give a full report to Congress on the wasteful spending he's uncovered?
First of all, Stuart Varney, it's great to be with you. I only hope the Academy was watching Representative Larson's performance, because if they were, I think Representative Larson might be nominated for an Academy Award for his dramatic role of just overstating the savings and the efficiencies that Elon Musk has continued to find and what Doge is doing. It's just a shame. It's almost like this. It's almost like this. Somebody breaks into your house. Elon Musk reviews the videotape, tells you who did it, and you scream, "Oh, you shouldn't have access to the videotape." And that's what the Democrats are just doubling and tripling down on. But as you know, Stuart, because I've watched you, you know we have a government we can't afford, and we have to wean ourselves off of this addictive government spending, and that's what we're doing right now.
Yep. If you went to the website, doge.gov, there's a complete listing of all the spending that they have found. You can read it line by line, thousands of lines. If the Democrats wanted to find out what wasteful spending he's uncovered, just go to the website. It's that simple.
That's simple, Stuart Varney. It's
that simple.
It's a new level of Trump derangement syndrome. It's now Musk derangement syndrome, and anything that Trump or Musk is for, the Democrats seem to be against.
One last one.
I wonder why. You know, there's a saying, judge a man by his enemies. So if they hate him, I gotta love him.
For you. You say that you found $135 billion in unemployment insurance fraud. You just simplify it for us, will you? Who got the money, and can you get it back?
It's a great question, Stuart Varney. It's $135 billion minimum, could be more, of insurance fraud, unemployment insurance fraud during the pandemic.
Maybe that's why he's all mad. Now his insurance he won't get his insurance fraud money.
And I'll tell you who did it: fraudsters, con men, outright thieves who stole American taxpayer money. They didn't make a mistake on a form. They purposely misused the system to steal from us. So yesterday we launched, or this week, a bill to get the money back. This bill extends the statute of limitations to go after the fraudsters. The Biden administration, for whatever reason, didn't make it a priority to get our money back, but Trump.
It's the name of the bill is Where's the Money, Gary bill. Yep, that's what it is.
And our great Secretary of Justice, Pam Bondi, will make it a priority to get our money back. So, Stuart, please help me to deliver a message from the American people to these fraudsters who stole our money. We want our money back. And this bill, which is still amazing, Stuart Varney, that you would think everybody would vote for it.
Yes,
except 127 Democrats did not.
Aaron Bean, a pleasure having you on the show today. Come back and see us again soon.
Go get him, Stuart.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Go get him, Stuart. Stuart drives a comfortable car. That's true. I've heard it all said before.
A new investor survey shows 85% believe that Musk's politics have a negative impact on the company. Grant Cardone is with us this morning. Grant, you just bought your daughter a Tesla. Is that your way of showing support for Musk and Doge?
100%. Elon Musk is doing things that most Americans are never in a position to
She's
do
got a
and
very
wouldn't have the
distal
courage
haircut.
to do, if they had it. So I wanted to support him. I actually bought one for my wife and one for my daughter who just turned 15. She graduated from high school at 15 years old from being homeschooled, and I promised her a new car. We didn't know which one if she completed early, and she did.
Well, that's a vote of confidence, I must say. Trump's
graduated from homeschool at 15. Holy cow. And got a new car for doing it. That's amazing. Yep. I made the same deal. I made the same deal. You get a Tesla Plaid if you graduate by the time you're 15. They're like, what?
Considering a tariff on timber and lumber imports.
Not the Plaid.
Now, look,
Sorry.
building costs are
Okay, when
already
you
going
graduate.
up a little with tariff and aluminum tariffs and steel. This is not good for your real estate development business, is it, Grant?
This will not hurt development at all. The problem in this country is we don't build enough. Like President Trump wants to drill, baby, drill. We need to build, baby, build.
Build, baby,
and
build.
when supply goes up, when we start building more, the cost of goods and services. So America can understand this. We have been charging for soft timber, soft wood from Canada for years, okay, since before 2018.
Canada's got soft wood.
Same thing with aluminum and steel. This is not a new thing. What Americans don't know is that we've been paying 240% on products like cheese and milk back into Canada, okay, that we get charged, which is very unfair for us. So we can get hardwood from Brazil. We produce more hardwood and softwood, by the way, Stuart, than Canada does. Canada needs America. America does not need Canada, bottom line. There's more people that live in the state of California than the entire country of Canada.
Whoa, did you guys know that? Did you also know that this guy wants to run for governor?
If the tariff struggle, shall I call it that, if the tariff struggle continues and it stretches out for a period of months, do you think the president can hold on to political support?
Yes, 100%, because we're going to have a boom in this economy like we've never seen before.
Let's go.
You guys that are watching the stock market every day understand that Tesla's value as a company has not changed. The piece of paper that you hold has changed. So if you can liquidate easily and you get scared, you liquidate your stock. But
real quick, does anybody here trade stuff and things? Does anybody here do this stock market thing? Is there any stock marketeers out there that know about this stuff really well? Are you making investments right now? Let's help our community out and share any kind of it's not advice, but just let's just call it shared experiences. But I'm just always curious, who is into the stock market? Anybody here into the stock market? Or do I have a savvy stock market person here? You want to get to know the crowd. You want to get to know your friends, who you're hanging out with. But if there's anybody out there that is, let yourself be known.
The company Tesla itself has not changed. The value of the U.S. economy has not changed. We actually have more confidence in the economy today than we did 4 months ago. We have a direction, we have guidance, we have leadership.
Oh, wait a second. I was supposed to do another super chat for another $5 super chat from AMP33. As we keep on unlocking, as we get closer and closer. One day I'll set the goal up to 100. You guys, no one's ever unlocked the $100 super chat, but you gotta figure that's probably worth it. But we're up to 20 range. So in 20 range, more reminders of where the way things used to be. All right, here we go. Rage on, Dims, rage on. Thank you for the $5 Australian super chat. I appreciate it. Onward and upward. We're now halfway to our goal. Thanks to AMP. AMP is sponsoring the stream tonight. I believe you are the unequivocal sponsor of the stream tonight. That is, yes, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you are the sponsor of the stream tonight right there. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. It means a lot, especially in these trying times. Buy the dip. Thank you so much. All right, back to it. I'm waiting for a crash so I can invest when the stocks are down on one knee. Okay. MJ, I literally said the exact to my son today. Okay. Woot woot. Got you. Okay. Finally useful. Oh, you could be useful all the time. You're all good. You're all good. The thunder from down under. Let's go.
We have lower taxes coming. Inflation's coming down. We have a pro-business
How about zero
president.
tax? Huh?
And I believe in the second quarter of this year, we're going to see a boom in this country like we've never seen before, Stuart. So load up.
Okay.
Okay, we got Boss Cascade. That's paper. Bosey Cascade. That's paper. I know that. Timber, forest products. Warehouse, Weyerhaeuser. I used to do. Okay, that's paper. And Rainier Inc. I'm not sure what that is. Now, Weyerhaeuser. That's Weyerhaeuser, by the way. And Boise Cascade. See, I know these names and I know they're paper companies because long time ago, I used to be in networking and stuff. And I worked at a company where these were clients sending important data through our network. That's all I can say about that. Weyerhaeuser. That's right. Weyerhaeuser. Exactly. That's it. I hadn't said the name in so long, but I literally used to talk to people at these companies all the time. All right, rock and roll.
You know, get invested and hold on, baby.
Grant, in November, you posted on X that you're considering a run for the governor of California, I believe. Where are you on that now? You're throwing your hat in the ring?
Guys, if you're in California, vote for this dude right here.
Well, you never know what a guy like me will do. You know, I am a patriotic American and I'm extremely concerned about the state of California. As California goes, so does the rest of the country. It is a massive economy. All Americans should be concerned about it.
Well, are you ready to make an announcement? Are you going to make some news for us? Are you going to make an announcement?
I'm going to be speaking. I will tell you this. I'm speaking at the RNC Saturday as a keynote speaker there to tell the people in California. California can be flipped, folks.
Okay. You know who he sounds like? If you close your eyes, he sounds like AJ Styles. That means he's probably from South Georgia.
Flip it this cycle. You have 18 months. It can be flipped, but you need the right leadership and the right voice. And you need somebody that's run businesses, not just somebody that's been on politics or been on TV.
It sounds like you, Grant.
Stuart in his comfortable car. All right. Yeah, so there you go. There's a dude. There's a dude for you, California. Get behind that guy. Flip it. You can flip it. You can flip it. You can't. He sounds like he's from South Georgia. I wouldn't doubt it. I'm pretty good at accents. I don't screw up that often with accents, but he does sound like he's from South Georgia. He's got some of that twang. Is, you know, he are definitely Georgia, but I was really feeling South Georgia there. I am in Cali. Well, dude, you should need to get behind this man. Give him all the things he needs and loves. Now he's probably got a wife, but just support him. Let people tell your friends about him. Have you heard about this guy? He's awesome. His daughter says smart. She graduated at 15 and got herself a Tesla on her 15th birthday. Yeah. Dark Lotus got a split. Nice seeing and chatting with y'all. Dinner ain't gonna make itself. Right on, Dark Lotus. Thank you for being here. It's good seeing you hanging out, man. It's really good seeing you hanging out. We're happy that you're part of the crew now, man. Keep on coming on, hanging out in the crowd. This is where it's at. Right here, you're with people that get you. Live long and prosper. All right. Could you imagine a MAGA supermajority for the second half? That's what we need. We need a supermajority. Supermajority. That's what I'm talking about. Super duper majority. Let me make sure I go into the right story next. What time is that? 42? Oh man, I did it again, didn't I? All right. Well, I've done it again, guys. Somehow, well, I know that you guys aren't really like going like, man, well, we have to get that press conference. I'm just dying to hear. Maybe we need to do one of them and I say the rest of the stories for tomorrow. I realize that when, you know, we go to, I'm just used to doing like 2 to 3 hour streams, right? So 3 hour streams. I probably need to go shorter, but I don't know. You guys seem to still be hanging out and having a good time, and that's what matters. And listening to the wolf matters too. You got to listen to the wolf. But we do stay on time here. I try to keep it at 3 hours, just because I know that's a long time to be at one stream. I know some people, you know, it depends on what it is. And I kind of do fly through a bunch of different stuff, but Oh yeah, it's only 10:30 though on my time, which means it's 30 minutes till we got a bare minimum till we got to stop. But 43, we've been going. We got about another 20 minutes probably. Let's just do it like that. We'll just do it like that. That gives me a little bit more time too. Let's see. I really want to see JD's remarks from the southern border. That's gonna be. All right. Okay. So we're gonna say the rest of the news stuff for tomorrow night. I got lots of stuff to say for tomorrow night for the Friday edition of Winning Tonight. But I want you guys to see what JD Vance said about the southern border. I got a couple of things from JD Vance that you must see. You've got to see this. Tulsi Gabbard is going to be talking too. Look at this. The dream team. If you haven't seen this yet, I haven't seen it, but we got to take a look at it. And I'm gonna put it at winning speed. So don't you dare despair. Don't you dare despair. All right. Boom. Look at that. Huh? Looks nice, right? There they are. And we got the dream team there. I think Pete's down there too. We got some Pete. We got some Pete over here. Yep, some Pete. We got some JD, some Pete, and some Tulsi right here, all hanging out. All right. And away we go.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and I appreciate you being here. It's great to be here. It's great to talk to some of the incredible people that we have, both at the local level, the Texas state level, and also, of course, our federal border patrol, who are doing so many good things to keep.
Check. All right, check. We are back in. Oh, wow, isn't that nice? It's so great. My audio software decided to update in the middle of the show. Isn't that awesome? Where did I leave off? All right, hold on. I know. I had to reboot my mixer. My mixer decided to update with a cool new update right in the middle of the show. Isn't that great? So where did I mute out at? What did I say? I don't know what I said, but I said Amazing Disgrace gets in on the action. You got my heart of approval here, my heart of honor, the heart of honor. And just like that, Hey, I'll go silent more often if this is what's going to happen. We just keep going up and up, unlocking new super chats as we go. Hold on, I gotta scratch my nose. All right. Where are we at? Okay. Wow, we got up 25. Oh, there we go. Thank you for the super chat. Our stream sponsor speaking up again. When we are going to hit this goal, it's going to happen. Where are we at on the goal? Jeez, I'm just in amazement here. I'm in total amazement. We are 3 away from confetti time, y'all. Confetti time. But yes, man. Good. All right. Cool. Yeah, that was all it was. So anyways, like I said, we got the dream team. When's the last time we saw something like this out of establishment administration, right? You got your vice president, you got your secretary of defense, and you got the director of national intelligence all together at the southern border. One of the most crucial things going on, national security, the biggest thing going on. And there they are on the scene. Kamala Harris, like, well, I've heard of the border. I haven't been to Europe either. I don't understand what you mean. Well, look, this is what we mean right here. Look, take your face out of the bottle, the goddamn box of wine, right? And take a look. This is what we mean right here. See, watch.
Keep us safe. And I have some bad news and some good news. And the bad news is that because of what Joe Biden did at the southern border for 4 years, we had record increases in migrant crime, in fentanyl deaths, and in just floods and floods of people who shouldn't be in our country who came into the United States of America. We also have a number of ways in which the cartels became more advanced, better warfighters, because Joe Biden opened up the American southern border and allowed the cartels to turn it into their playground. Now, that's the bad news. The good news is, as President Trump said last night at the State of the Union, it turns out we didn't need new laws. We didn't need fancy legislation. We just needed a new president of the United States. And thank God that's exactly what we have. And I will say that the most heartening message that I take away from my visit here at the Texas border is that the number of Border Patrol agents who have come up to me and said thank you, or said because of this, we've cut the number of border crossings from 1,500 a day to 30 a day. Or the people who have come up and said we've seen a reduction in 85% of the number of people who are dying at the American southern border. And every single day that we continue to keep this border safe, that means less migrant crime, that means less fentanyl coming into our communities, that means more safety and security for the people of the United States of America. And of course, we know the border problem, the border crisis under Biden's administration was a national crisis, but it acutely affected the communities right here. And I've already heard heartbreaking stories of people who are still picking up the pieces, local mayors who are still dealing with the budgetary consequences of what the Joe Biden administration allowed to happen at the American southern border. And that, too, is something that President Trump is going to help address, help fix, and help solve. Now, I wanted to bring Secretary Hegseth and Director Gabbard at DNI down here because, one, I obviously enjoy their company, and it's good to have them down here with me looking around today. But unfortunately, we know that because of what's happened, the border crisis has become a matter of national intelligence, and it's also become something that requires the Department of Defense to engage with. I was talking with Paul Perez earlier. The drone.
That's why we cover a lot. We're going to cover a lot of border issues on Monday night too. So.
Technology that the cartels are using requires, unfortunately, a military response and military support. So it was important for Secretary Hegseth to see what's going on, because we know that the millions and millions of people who were let in over the last 4 years, many of them are connected to foreign terrorists. It's important for our leader of national intelligence to get a sense of what's here on the ground. So before we take questions from the press, and all of us are willing to take questions, I want to give Secretary Hegseth and then Director Gabbard an opportunity to say a few words themselves. Mr. Secretary.
Well, Mr. Vice President, thank you very much for inviting us.
Okay, before we get started on this, Darth Kitty, thank you for being a member for too much. Are you a gifted member or are you a paying member? Because hold on. If I don't have you, if you're a paying member, I need to put you on this list right here. But sometimes the gifted memberships, if you get 2 in a row, it'll say you're a member for 2 months, 3 months, whatever. And I sometimes like the thing on the YouTube side screwed up. So yeah, that's it. But yeah, that doesn't go towards the goal, but you will get gifted. You will get recognition for using your gifted membership, because it is a good example of why people want to become members of the Winner Circle, because you get a free membership. You get a free super chat every month. It's already prepaid. So for about the price of a about the price of a Biden tank of gas, which is like, $3, you can be a part of the winner's circle on a monthly basis and support the channel. And that really does help out a lot. But I will shoot you. Well, I don't have any quote unquote wieners, but I do have bodies that are attached to them. So
Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for your super chat.
Shelly made that. Okay, here we go.
It's great to be here with you, with the director, with our fellow friends in civilian clothes and in other shades of green. This is a demonstration of a true partnership on the southern border, as President Trump has made clear on the campaign trail and from day one. And
I appreciate you, Darth.
Border security is national security.
You being
from
here
the
is a
Defense
gift.
Department, we've watched for a couple of decades other people's borders being secured, while ours was open for an invasion of drugs and of violence and of chaos for American communities. That stops under President Trump. And the Defense Department has assets that we can bring to bear, not just troops, not just surveillance, not just equipment, but actual planning and capabilities that enhance what Border Patrol is already doing, which is why it's been incredible to hear from our partners about what we've been able to allow them to do, facilitate them. And we've seen it in the numbers. 98% drop in crossings on the southern border. We're not yet at 100% operational control, but we are on our way because that is the mandate that the president has given us.
That's the only
more
mandate he's
resources
ever
are
going to
coming
go
to
on.
this border. We are dedicated to securing it. That's the reason for our trip and our partnership. And I want to thank all the men and women who've been doing it recently in uniform, who have been doing it a long time right here, have dedicated their lives to securing the American people. And at the Defense Department, we are committed to continuing to being a big part of it. So, Mr. Vice President, thanks for having us.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Great. Now, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for your leadership in bringing the country's attention to what has been happening here at the border and the significant change that has already occurred under the short time that President Trump has been in office. Really, what you're seeing here today and what you'll continue to see is a unified effort across President Trump's national security team, the Department of Homeland Security, towards our mission, which is to ensure a safe, free, and prosperous society for Americans. As Director of National Intelligence, there are a number of areas where we are focused. The president talked about in his speech, over 21 million people have come across our borders illegally under Joe Biden's administration. There are many of them that we don't know who they are. They have not been vetted. We don't know where they are. I'll give you one quick example of one of the problems that we are getting after. From Central Asia, there were over 4,000 people who came across our borders using an ISIS-affiliated network. Our National Counterterrorism Center went through and identified those individuals. There were hundreds of them who were either known terrorists or associated with known terrorists. That information was provided to the Biden administration. You may remember in some of the news, a little over 100 of those people were arrested in 2024. Of those who were arrested, only 8 were either deported or remained in custody. Only 8. The rest of them were released back into our country. Where are they? What are they doing? What may they be plotting? This is just the beginning. There are many, many areas that we need to stay very focused on, working with Department of Homeland Security, working with the FBI to ensure that we're keeping the American people safe. Our Counterterrorism Center is working on making sure that we have that single source for vetting so that we can figure out who is actually in our country and identify those who pose a threat and get them removed. The president's designation of the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations falls directly into this, especially as we're seeing some of the tactics that these cartels are using reflect some of the tactics that we've seen used by Islamist terrorists in countries that many of us have served in overseas.
Hello.
Our mission is very clear. Our objective is to keep the American people safe. I'm grateful to be a part of this team that President Trump has assembled.
Love to have
accomplish
you
that
here.
mission.
We
Thank
love
you.
that. We love that you're here with us. Hell yeah, I'm impressed with how Tulsi has transformed in her role in MAGA. You know, she always was there. That's what I'm saying. We have to leave room up for redemption with people. She always was there. That's why they treated her the way they did. You know a person by their enemies.
So before I take questions, let me just say 2 final things. First of all, the reason why we've seen, as Pete said, a 98% reduction of border crossings, the reason why this particular site has gone from over 1,500 crossings per day to 30 crossings per day is because President Trump has empowered and, in fact, demanded that his whole government take the task of border control seriously. And that's exactly what we're doing. And of course, and this leads to my final point before we take questions, it is impossible to do without the men and women on the ground who are actually doing the hard work. They just want to be empowered to do their jobs. President Trump has made that possible. So from the bottom of my heart and for a grateful nation, to every person I've met here today, thank you for working hard on the American people's business. It's been an honor to be with you. It's been an honor to see what you do. And we're going to keep on supporting you over the next 4 years. Congressman Gonzalez, thank you for being here and thank you for your leadership. And now we'll take some questions from reporters. Sir.
Hey, I just want to remind everybody there's 18 minutes left on the goal. 18 minutes left on the goal. We are only $15 away. That's 5 or one big one, or it's 3 $5 ones or whatever. And then the confetti falls and we all have a sense of accomplishment that's beyond comprehension. It's just a beautiful thing. Okay, back to the press conference. But yeah, good point. Again, Darth Kitty, Tulsi, we saw the intrinsic worth. It's about intrinsic worth and who she is. And like, again, look at all the people who went against her. Look at the people who denied her shot at getting the Democrat Party nomination back when they had a chance to have that gold mine right there. Right. And like I said, a person by their enemies, right? I've always said, like, when I walk into a new scene, a new situation, a group of people, whatever, the first thing that happens before I can even do anything is I piss off the biggest narcissist there, and they immediately start plotting my demise, as they pretend to be my friend. They, and on, like, scammers hate me, grifters hate me, and narcissists hate me. So that, kind of know where you stand. And that's the same with Shelly too. She's got the same problem I do. Is that, these mask wearing people that work in the dark energy, they're enemies. But a person by that, right? That's I think the same way with Tulsi, right? As when she walked in the room, her light was shining. She's honest. She wants the best, and she wants to go about the best way, and she doesn't want to hurt anybody. And so immediately, she walked into a den of vampires of that DNC. So they all turned on her. They weren't going to ever let her get the nomination. And then, they didn't want to hear any of her silly ideas. They called her a Russian agent. They called her all kinds of things when she's serving her country. Same with Trump. Look at who his enemies are around the world. Those are the worst people that exist, right? The Clintons, the corrupt establishment, the Bidens, the Obamas, the Bushes, the Cheneys. They all hate Trump. So what does that say about Trump, right? It says he's a good guy. They hate Elon too. They hate Elon. They hate them all. They hate them all. When the corrupt establishment hates you, you're probably a good person. All right, we got so it's a good thing I stopped and talked for a second, because I've got another super chat trying to reach that goal. We are up to the what? Are we up to the $30 level already? Okay, here we go. There you go. Well, you got that one. That was probably the one she didn't want. But anyways, let's get back to it.
As you guys have been exemplifying for today, that border crossings are down. A lot of attention has been turned to the interior, since obviously there's been a lot of illegal immigrants. What is, in your opinion, the biggest obstacle to actually carrying out President Trump's mass deportations? Even though, yes, like, apprehensions and arrests and deportations have gone up in his first month, but a lot of people are expecting a bigger capacity for deportation. So what's
So let me say a few things about that. So first of all, Rome wasn't built in a day, and we have seen pretty significant increases in deportations and apprehensions and arrests. But we have to remember that President Biden gutted the entire immigration enforcement regime of this country. We are trying to rebuild so that we actually empower people to enforce the immigration laws of the American people. It is common sense. It's what the American people want us to do. There are a couple of other things that we're working on. I don't want to get ahead of any public announcements, but one of the ways that we wanted to make sure that we're enforcing our border is that we make it easier for people who are here illegally to go back home of their own accord. We don't want to have to go around and arrest every person, but we will enforce the American people's immigration laws. If you're here illegally, the message from our administration is you should go back home, and if you want to come to the United States, apply through the proper channels. That's an important thing that we're doing. And the final thing is this costs money. One of the most important parts of the president's reconciliation priorities is, of course, tax reform on the one hand, and on the other hand, making sure that we get proper resources so that we can pay for the flights, and we can pay for the detention centers, and we can pay for all the components necessary to ensure that we're re-migrating illegal immigrants back to their country of origin. I guarantee it is a part of the president's priorities. We'll keep on working on it. We've made a lot of progress, but we're going to keep on working on it over the remainder of the president's term.
On winning.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Vice President, I want to ask you about border wall and tariffs.
Real quick, shout out to Marquis over on the Rumble side for the $5 Rumble rant. Thank you for all your work. Thank you for all your work, and thank you for donating to the cause. I really do appreciate your $5 Rumble rant. And so you know what, that applies to what we're doing over here. No, it didn't. Wait, hold on. there we go. Much better. That applies to what we're doing over here as far as unlocking clips, but it doesn't go towards the YouTube goal. That's okay though. That's okay though, because right behind you in there, and you're gonna get your clip anyways. Right behind you is Amazing Disgrace with $5. Hey T3, I like more than just boobs. Can you tell winning that women have other gorgeous features? Oh, it's 2-1 Rumble. Hold on, where's the other one? No, I only see one. I only see one. Is there another one? Did I miss one? I see a $5 on Rumble. So, huh? What do you mean 2 of the same? I only see 5. Let me refresh. I don't see it. So I check your side and make sure. Doesn't matter because we're going to go up, 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 up the unlocking. We're going to go up the scale here. But if it's someone else did give another Rumble rant, thank you so much. I don't see it on my side for some reason. I don't know why. But send me a screenshot or something. I'll read it. Yes. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know that that's true. I think you might be your thing, but we'll have to discuss it afterwards because I'm not seeing it on my end. Did you send 2, Marky? Did you send 2? Because I'm not seeing it. And even on up in the little area at top, I see the one that's there. Did you send one earlier and I missed it? No. Up on the top there, it tells me like I see the one that you did send. But anyways, we're going over stuff and things that we don't, obviously. Okay, whoa, okay, we got that one. We got 2 more. Oh, and did we do it? You guys did it. Whoa, enjoy your confetti bath. All right, so we got 5. Hey, and next is Wolfram with a $5 super chat. Thank you guys both so much. That's 5, 10, 15, potentially 20 coming in right there, sliding in to home. Thank you so much. And if I count this right, which I could potentially do, we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 50, 60. Okay, so we're up at that level. And so we are right. Well, you guys did it. You guys got all the way. Thank you for the super chat. Little peekaboo there. Peekaboo. Anyways, I tried twice. Maybe it went through twice. I'm okay with that. Well, thank you though. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to everybody for making this a wonderful evening on the super chat field. And I have to that's where the goal was set, but I have to say that there is a $100 version, but I do need to fill in the gaps, but I just run out of space. I need to fill in the gaps between 50 and 100. So you kind of reach a certain point and you get a certain recycling of the best. And then when you get to the $100 level, that's a whole new thing. Anyways, let's get back to it. Thank you guys so much for being awesome and support the channel the way you do and all the ways you do it with your likes, your subscriptions, and your super chats, your memberships. Everything counts. Everything counts. Thank you so much. And while you're out there, subscription drive always in effect. We try to cross that 48. I don't want those, the 48 I got last time with a bunch of trolls watching. Even my trolls watch because they know they get the best information here. Whether they like winning or losing, it doesn't matter. So that was silly, but we get some new people in here and start adding more subscriptions. You guys, just word of mouth, man. It's like word of mouth. Like I said, me and Shelly, I don't belong to a clique. I'm not, I'm just doing my thing here. So it is what it is, and word of mouth is going to be the way we do it. All right, cool. All right, let's get back to this.
First on the border wall, how do you and the president...
Could you say your outlet, by the way, when you guys ask questions?
Yeah, Reagan Reese, Daily Caller.
Thank you.
How do you and the president define success this term with the border wall, and how much of the southern border wall needs to be walled off before Trump leaves office?
Well, look, I think the president's hope is that by the end of the term, we build the entire border wall. And of course, that's the physical structure of the border wall itself. But we even heard today, there are so many good technological tools, so many great artificial intelligence enabled technologies that allow us, for example, a camera, not a person, but a camera picks up somebody 2 miles away who's about to come across the southern border. Maybe it's livestock, right? Maybe it's a critter in the desert. Maybe it's a human being with a weapon on their back. We're using artificial intelligence to make us better at the job of border enforcement, but we've got to make sure that technology is deployed across the entire American southern border.
It's like doorbell technology, man. Your average smart doorbell can do this.
We're going to do it as much as we can, as broadly
Why
as
weren't
we
we
can,
doing it
because
long
that's
time
how we're
ago?
going to protect the American people's security. Yeah, go ahead.
Last time they were paused because they deployed 10,000 troops to the border. What can they do this time to make the tariffs go away?
Well, what the president has said is we need a sustained commitment from the government of Mexico to take the job of border security seriously. Fentanyl is the single largest cause of death among young Americans, and we know that a substantial portion of it is, the precursors are made in China. They come to Mexico, they're manufactured in Mexico and brought across the border by the Mexican drug cartels. We want to see fewer Americans dying of these terrible fentanyl overdoses, when we're going to apply as much leverage as possible to the Mexican government as possible. In some ways, look, the president obviously cares deeply about the American people. He serves the American people first. I actually think he's doing a huge favor to the people of Mexico, because if they don't get control of these cartels, the people of Mexico are going to wake up in a narco state where the cartels have more power than their own government. President
What I've been saying forever, it's going to change the face of Mexico. Getting rid of these cartels will make Mexico great. I mean, it will have a boom like we've never seen before. Mexicans should be very excited about this.
Trump is trying to help. The Mexican government needs to take this issue of immigration enforcement seriously.
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
back. Yeah.
Mr. Vice President, Ali Bradley, News Nation. So since the designation of the cartels as
Is there any
guerrilla-
UFOs down here? You see any UFOs? They're from News Nation. That's where Ross Coulthart and the UFO contact cult is based out of.
Does that give the United States a green light to go into Mexico and to strike them there? I mean, right now,
They do real
obviously,
news,
they've
too.
struck in the Houthis in Yemen. So why not, when we've seen cross-border violence, go after them in Mexico? And then my second question is about a designation. I'll follow up on, please.
Go ahead and ask the second question.
Why isn't the Juarez/La Línea cartel designated when it's in one of the most deadliest places on the planet? Juarez has been designated as one of the deadliest cities. It's right across from El Paso. We've talked to community leaders. They say, we know Juarez cartel's operating in the U.S. and so are their affiliates. We don't even want to talk about it out loud, though, because then we'll put a target on our back. They're scared. Border Patrol even thought they were designated, but they're not. The State Department didn't tell me why.
So on that, we're looking at additional organizations. Obviously, this is the determination of whether to determine a particular organization, a terrorist organization, is something that we consult with our leaders of the Department of Defense. We also consult with our friends in other governments. We maintain the optionality to designate further organizations, terrorist organizations, if we feel that we need to in order to protect the American people. And I think President Trump has made it very clear he's not going to be shy about designating some of these cartel organizations as terrorists if he thinks he has to protect the American people. Your first question was about
American forces to strike.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So look, I'm not going to make any announcements about any invasions of Mexico here today. The president has a megaphone, and of course, he'll speak to these issues as he feels necessary. But what designating cartel organizations allows us to do is deploy the full resources of the United States military to engage in serious border enforcement. Of course, the president is going to make the determination about how we deploy those forces. But our hope is that Mexico takes this job seriously. We don't want to have negative relationships with the Mexican government. We want the Mexican government to help itself, but also in the process to help the American people by taking these organizations seriously. It's going to destabilize the entire country of Mexico, the entire government, if they don't take it more seriously. We're hopeful that they will. And if they don't, then of course, we'll figure out what to do from there.
Yeah, we'll kick their ass later.
So you just mentioned something about invasion of Mexico. Is there any talk or any thoughts about actually U.S. military forces going into Mexico?
No. Next question.
Nice.
On tariffs, are any other industries other than automotive reaching out to you guys to carve out special deals? And did the automotive industry know this was coming before today?
Well, a number of industries have reached out to us to ask us for exceptions to the tariffs, but I think the president's been very clear here that he wants the tariffs to apply broadly. He doesn't want to have 500 different industries getting 500 different carve-outs, and the way to avoid application of the tariffs is to have your factory and have your facility in the United States of America. That is the way. Invest in America. That is how you will avoid being penalized by these tariffs. Sir.
Figure it out.
Well, John Paul
It's pretty
Barajas,
easy.
You've been talking about the improvements that your administration has done here with the crossings.
Can you talk about the decline prior to President Trump taking office under the Biden administration?
Well, I think like so many Americans, apparently members of the Mexican drug cartel figured out in November and December after the election that Joe Biden was asleep at the wheel, and they had to be dealing with the then president-elect and now
Asleep at
president.
the wheel.
If you look at what drove the
barely
decline
alive.
before the inauguration, people will tell you they knew that Donald Trump was coming back into office. They knew he was going to take border enforcement seriously, and so they were already getting ahead of actually cutting down those illegal crossing numbers. We saw that from the Mexican government, of course, because we were threatening some economic sanctions against them, but we also saw it from the cartels themselves. And even today, because of course it doesn't, it takes a little time to get from the deepest parts of Central America to the American southern border. What we often find is that there are massive numbers of illegal immigrants who have already started to make the trek and have decided, you know what, because Donald Trump's president, we're going to go back home. We heard today about a Honduran group of migrants who decided they're just going to go back home because they recognize that under Donald Trump's leadership, we take border enforcement seriously. Thank you all. Take care.
Forward march. Look at that. There's Pete, JD, Tulsi, Gonzalez, Freddie, Sam.
Accepting our proposal for.
All right, so we got that one, and we already looked at that. So next time we'll look at the newer one. But that's pretty cool, huh? Unity at the border. Judge Maddie right here, sliding in sideways. Inez, what's up? Judge Maddie, how you doing? How you doing? I'm glad you're here to come hang out with us. Vance, Big Balls, Food 2028. Yeah. He's doing pretty good so far, man. I'm digging the leadership factor. I'd like to see him and Vivek together in some way, shape, or form. That'd be cool. Can't stay long tonight. I started watching and the UN and Davos 21 and 30. Good stuff. Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying that. Those are very informative and should get you caught up. Also, the book, if you're into that stuff right now, read the book Control Oligarchs on our Unrigged the Game. Very first book we read, Unrigged the Game, Control Oligarchs. Check it out. It's in the playlist on Rumble. You can find it. That will tell you everything you need to know about those characters right there. Right there. Yes. That right there. They'll tell you how that all got started. So that's your background information once you get the update stuff. I'm awesome. I'm disappearing. I'm freezing because I don't know why. But something is making me freeze right now. My connection's unstable, but it's coming back because we're getting ready to end the show anyways. But I thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. Winning tonight, Friday edition tomorrow night, 7:45 p.m. Eastern. I hope that works for you because that's kind of where it's going to be from now on. Unless something comes up and I got to change it around, but I'm kind of like making room for it ahead of time before things do change around. But anyways, I thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. I appreciate you guys reaching the goal tonight. Thank you to all the super chatters. Thank you to who did end up sponsoring the stream. Yeah, it was AMP33 sponsored the stream tonight with an amazing 4 super chats. Amazing Disgrace had a couple. Wolfram, Heidi, and Shelly also as well. Thank you each and every one of you for the super chat. Oh, and Marquis over on Rumble, 2 Rumble rants or potentially 2 Rumble rants, maybe 1, maybe 2. I'll check it out and make sure, and I'll make sure to thank you for that the next show as well. All right, so that is tomorrow night at 7:45 p.m. Eastern. Running tonight. Again, thanks guys so much. Have a great evening, each and every one of you. Awesome crowd. Love hanging out with you guys, and guys, I'll see you very, very, very soon. And until that time, everybody stay based and keep on winning.
If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, this is your villain origin story. If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands.
This